hakee maaliin. Niin se vastiainen ja tekee sen maalin.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Wilhelm vie nakkikioskille kotikatsomossa.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation of the ECL Elite Division Season 12, the final week of the regular season right here on NHL Gamer. My name is Tuki, joined as always by my broadcast partner. It is the one, the only Sin for the win, and Sin, today, some interesting matchups ahead. Our final broadcast of the regular season. It all wraps up tomorrow. We are oh so close to the playoffs beginning next week.
Yeah, and this first matchup, I mean, possibly a matchup that we'll see maybe later on down the road in the playoffs. But for now, I mean, Färjestad versus hREDS. I mean, this is a huge matchup. hREDS near the top. Färjestad right now in the top 4 as well. Two, kind of juggernauts of this season going head to head, and not really a playoff position on the line. Maybe a few implications for seeding, but nonetheless, is a huge pride match for both of these teams.
Absolutely, and a little bit later on in this broadcast, it'll be ZSC Esports taking on YMCA as well. Another big battle with plenty of implications at stake. As you get a look at the schedule for today's Sin, a lot going on. Of course, we'll take a look at the standings as well here in just a moment. But crucial games for ZSC Esports today. While we cover our first series, they'll be taking on a playoff squad in Poggers, and then, of course, they take on YMCA a little bit later on. Vesapampa take on Yippee Voskala in a series that could very well, I mean, one of these teams will absolutely confirm that the other will not be making the playoffs, which is a situation, of course, that we never expected. IQ has a great opportunity to try to hold on to a playoff spot, and there's just so much going on here that it's going to be fun to track this as we go on throughout the broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, as close we get to the end of the season, every single game becomes that much more important, and every single place in the standings, has some sort of, as you said, implication for what could happen, affecting the, how the team's going to end up, relegation position, just outside of the playoffs, inside of the playoffs, who knows? But yeah, these matchups here, I mean, absolutely huge.
So with that, of course, we'll take a look at the regular season standings now as they currently stand. A 30-game regular season, as you can see, every team with about an average of 4 games left. ZSC, of course, with 6 games remaining on their schedule here as we go down the stretch. Sid and I have talked about it. Of course, that left-hand side of the bracket is where you want to be. The top 5, no real surprises, but YMCA, Poggers, and especially IQ being up there, quite surprising. Sin, on the right-hand side of the bracket, though, we've talked about it, the teams that we expected to be in the playoffs and certainly in playoff contention, 11, 12, and 13 with Northern Ascendancy, Yippee Voskala, and Vesapampa. But on the flip side, Sawo, just above them, we thought they could make the playoffs. But what about Tunnel Vision, who were in 15th for the majority of the season? They're up into 10th, almost a Sawo-esque run to try and sneak into the playoffs at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, they only have the 2 games remaining, so just 4 points. They'd have to win all of them, really, to be given a realistic chance that would leapfrog both IQ and Poggers. But as we mentioned, both of them with 4 games in hand. So it's a long shot, but at least Tunnel Vision has battled their way out of that relegation position. But yeah, Sawo, you said it. They just recently split their series with Philadelphia, winning one in overtime and losing the other in regulation. So that's absolutely massive for them. Gets them closer, and I mean, they're right on the edge of the playoffs, as he said.
Absolutely. So with that, let's get into the the preparation here for our first matchup of the day. Again, hREDS taking on Färjestad. Sin, 2 teams very much in the playoff mix. hREDS today looking to secure that 2nd seed ahead of one Havu Gaming, and simply put, 2 dynamic offenses on display here tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, hREDS obviously, so good on the offensive side of things, but Färjestad, I mean, only 11 goals behind them. And when you consider, the lineup that hREDS have and what they've looked like over the course of the season, being able to put the puck in the net and some of their passing plays, Färjestad is in pretty good company up there with their goals for. It's when it comes to that goals against, that's the largest differential. Färjestad unable to kind of shut things down as well as they perhaps have in other seasons. But I mean, nonetheless, it's a huge matchup for them and be, good bragging rights to take at least one game off of hREDS here moving forward. Both these teams want some momentum heading into the playoffs.
With that, of course, we'll take a look at the team lineups here as well for hREDS and really for both squads. The lineups that you would expect: Villapoika, the captain Benito, and Nicky Dangles, the front three for hREDS. Domi and King of Apes on defense. Phase between the pipes for FBK. It's Afe, Malin, and Antonio Mannin. Furion and Laminens on defense. McSavid between the pipes. And Sim, we'll get to those individual breakdowns. We'll start off with the battle of the captains right down the middle with the centers, Benito and Malin. Malin with a very impressive point total, Sin. A little bit overshadowed by Benito, but what else can you really expect from someone who's been a top scorer pretty much all season long?
Yeah, I mean, overshadowed is correct, but yeah, Mullen, I mean, 7th in assists, 8th when it comes to points, and leading his team with 117 hits as well. I mean, this is a center that kind of does it all. It's, you're looking between him and Benito. I mean, Benito's obviously, further up and actually leading the division in points right now and also in shots. I mean, it's insane what they both bring to the table. But yeah, Mullen, definitely not someone to kind of, forget about out there, especially with his physical play and his ability to put up points.
Move over to the winger matchup here next. Again, Villapoika and Nicky Dangles, a part of that extremely dynamic front three for hREDS. But on the flip side, Sin, it's Afe and Antonio Mannin. And we look to Antonio over the past couple of seasons, being a defender for Vesapomp, and what he's done now in the past 2 years on FBK has been unreal. And at the same time, Afe continues to get better. He's the league's leading scorer with 43 goals on the year.
Yeah, 43 goals, 11 of those are game winners. So, 1 in 4 goals that he scores essentially are good enough to be deciders in games. But yeah, you said it, Antonio, huge improvements. He's now 5th in the division in assists. I mean, it's great to have a guy like Afe to be able to feed the puck to. But yeah, Villapoika, Nicky Dangles, 73 and 72 points. I mean, it's just filthy what hREDS have been able to do this year while still keeping up that great defensive play.
Absolutely, and we take a look at the defenders now here as well. 4 players who can put up the points from the blue line. Domi and King of Apes for hREDS, Furion and Laminens on defense here. I mean, Sin, if you want offense from the blue line, this is the matchup to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, all 4 of these guys completely dynamic. Maybe King of Apes doesn't have the points that we perhaps expected out of him, but that doesn't make him any less dangerous there on the back end. Him and Domi have been terrific all season. Furion and Laminens as well. I mean, again, we have to stress it. Laminens has fit into this lineup like a glove. 11 goals, 30 assists, 41 points. I mean, he's 2nd in goals, 1st in assists, and 1st in points amongst defensemen.
And of course, last but not least, the battle of the goaltenders here as well. It is FaZe against McSavid, 2 of the league's best. Although last year's rookie and goalie of the year in FaZe, his first year with the new club, Sin, and he is still performing at an elite level, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 4th in the save percentage, 3rd when it comes to goals against, and also has 5 shutouts, which is good enough for 3rd as well. Surprisingly, McSavid still hasn't found that shutout on the year. We're getting down to the wire here. I'm sure he'd like to pick that up, but when it comes to this area, the wins are the most important thing, and these 2 goaltenders love to make those key saves to help their team get some wins.
Yeah, McSavid leading the league last year in save percentage, below that 80% mark so far this year, but he is really starting to heat up as we go down the stretch here. So, Sin, I do believe we are just about ready, actually, for the start of these matchups here. Don't know if we'll be able to fit in the old keys to success here. Waiting to hear back. I actually think that we might be able to here. So, Sin, here, if we have the opportunity, then we'll talk at the very least about FBK and the keys to success for them heading into this matchup. What do we have here?
Well, the first one here is speed kills, the quick counters of FBK. hREDS might know it's coming, but they still have to deal with it. Afe is a guy who, he's out there, what he likes to do, but it's so hard to be able to shut him down, and people haven't been able to do that enough. The second point here is the active defense. On Monday, we got to look as FBK swept Yippee Voskala. Needless to say, FBK and Lehmanens love getting involved. Furion and Lehmanens love getting involved for FBK. I mean, they love to kind of swap positions, they do a lot of, switching on the rush. I mean, just completely dynamic there on the back end. And the third point here is the return to form. It hasn't been the most consistent season for the team, and especially for McSavid in particular, but he's started to get hot of late, and this is the right time to sort of get your game going if you're a goaltender heading into the playoffs.
Absolutely. And again, talking about the keys that we have here as well, if we have a moment, what it's going to take here for hREDS as well in this matchup. Sin, what stands out for you here as well?
Well, the first one here is the strong back checking. The defense, we know, is going to be under pressure with FBK looking for those quick counterattacks. So it's crucial that those hREDS forwards are ready to help out as much as they can. Luckily, they're three of the best when it comes to the defensive end of things. The second point here is to stay out of the box. I know it's a common point anytime we talk about hREDS, but it has to be said they've taken the most penalties in this division. They do have a top 4 penalty kill to show for it. You could say practice makes perfect, but they're going up against the top power play in the league now. The best course of action here is to stay out of the box. The third and final point here is unfazed. Last year's Rookie of the Year has lived up to the hype and then some for his debut here with hREDS. I mean, he's on the verge of the postseason now. He's facing, that kind of player caliber of postseason. It's time to see him go against what the league has to offer.
Absolutely. So again, everybody, we are just a few moments away from a puck drop here. Our first game of 2 between hREDS and Färjestad. Again, a little bit later on as well. It is the ZSC Esports contingent taking on YMCA Esports as well. Sin, as we talked about with this battle here, though, it's hREDS trying to secure that second seed above Havu. We've talked about that for as long as we've been around here. The big 2, will it be a big 3, a big 4? It's certainly a big 3 at the very least with Havu, hREDS, and of course our defending champs in Philadelphia. For FBK as well, though, I mean, you talk about what they're playing for here. For the most part, they seem to be relatively locked into that 4th, 5th spot, so it's a matter of pretty much who the matchup will be more than anything else. And it looks like they are destined for a collision course with taking on Goons in that first round.
Yeah, that's going to be a heck of a matchup. I mean, Färjestad, obviously, long tenured here in the elite division. Goons, kind of the new kids on the block, but what an opening season they've had here. I mean, and really new kids, and indeed, I mean, Piku Roger and great, I forget his name. They're amazing. 13-year-old left defenseman. Viba. That's what I thought. And then I was going to say VP, but that's his partner back there. But yeah, I mean, just incredible job.
Confused.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we'll get to know their names very well over the course of the next few seasons, because I don't predict Goons going anywhere anytime soon.
Absolutely, a good amount of competition for the potential Rookie of the Year race this year. The game is underway. We'll see how this one plays out tonight. Again, a very important matchup for both of these two teams to establish some momentum heading into the postseason, which again begins on Monday. NHLGamer.com for all the information that you're going to need in that regard. See how this one plays out. An early chance for FBK, and hREDS looking to send things down the other way in quick order. See what they're able to do here into the attacking zone now. Down low in the corner, back out to Villapoika. Now dish to the point, shot on, blocked down. Still kept alive here off of a great poke check, though, by King of Apes. Fighting for it down low in the corner. Benito can't hold on to it. FBK back in control here. And again with FBK, I mean, Sin, you mentioned it, those quick counter-attacking opportunities, but both teams able to implement them. See, a great chance there for Villapoika. Nearly freed himself right up the middle. Benito had it. Again, tried to feed it in front. Benito rocking the gold helmet, of course, signifying his team's leading scorer, as you saw the attempt from Mullen there to try and send it down ice. Look for that play quite a bit, especially the green icon of Afe. FBK back in control here, trying to get things going back down the other way. nowhere to go with the blue line, Sin. I mean, we've seen it as well throughout this season. We've been able to cover hREDS quite a bit in terms of teams that have the ability to shut down the blue line, posting all 5 players along the line. They're one of the best.
Yeah, and you really see them evolve over the course of the season. It's kind of looking at what those top 2 teams in Philadelphia and Hava were doing and taking bits of their game and putting it into their own. And no surprise now, they're in that top 3.
And another poke check there at the blue line, completely stifling Antonio as he gets absolutely crushed by Benito. The physical play from hREDS on display here in the early stages, again, of this first game of 2, this home-and-home series. Between these two, I mean, they're not playoff hopefuls at this stage. For hREDS, certainly championship hopefuls. For FBK, we've seen mixed success in the playoffs, but this is arguably the best lineup that they've iced. There's a chance there for Villapoica on the far side. He just couldn't hold on to it. It's Benito down low, examining his options. Again, cuts to the corner, tried to find Villapoica. He's picked off. Chance here for Rafe. Head of steam, has to drop back to Antonio, and again, drop back to the point. Furion, look at the movement here from FBK, but better defense from hREDS, holding them off for now. Layman and shot on. Deflection bid doesn't go. And a one-timer, they score! Furion does it again! Sin, we saw it on Monday, and he scores in almost the same exact way. His 5th of the season.
If it works, it works. I mean, keep going back to the well right there. That one time is such a good play. And Färjestad kind of throwing hREDS game in their face after hREDS did the same earlier with some quick counterattacks and some odd mans that almost kind of bore fruit for them on the rush. But it's Färjestad with the amazing offensive zone puck movement, finding Furion there, who tucks it home on the one-timer. 1-0 for Färjestad.
A tremendous start there for the men in green, but a chance down the other way, and we have a tie game. Seconds later, hREDS equalize. It's Nicky Dangles finding the back of the net off of a tremendous play. Sin, he's up to 33 goals on the season.
Yep, and we talk about that quick counterattack of Färjestad, but I mean, hREDS just displayed what they can do right there. Couple quick passes laterally, and McSavid, caught kind of, hugging that blocker side post a little bit. Not exactly with the animation of hugging it, but gets caught on that side, perhaps thinking the initial shot was going to come up from the slot right there. Just a bang-bang play coming out from hREDS, and they tie that one up immediately.
What a play there that was, and that is the ability of hREDS to just find the back of the net, seemingly out of nothing. Just like that, we are tied, of course, FBK with a slightly weaker defensive record on the season. I say slightly to be nice. Comes back to haunt them there. Here's hREDS on the attack once more. Slap shot blocked by his own man. Little Poika dishing back to the point. King of Apes tried to get a one-timer through. Nowhere to go. Both teams love to utilize those point shots as well. You saw the point production totals from these 4 in our pregame build-up there. We have a minute and a half to go. Furion, the goal scorer. Again, the most prolific scoring defenseman under the NHL Gamer umbrella in his career here. Always dangerous. He showed you as to why. Chance perhaps for one more rush here for hREDS, going down the other way. 6 seconds. Savid kicks it behind the net here. Turned over. Puck in front. Nicky Dangle swung and missed. A backhand from King of Apes deflects off of the traffic. So Sin was looking good for Färjestad. They get that opening goal. But ultimately, again, that incredibly quick comeback goal for hREDS sees this one tied.
Yeah, and that's what those good teams do. They respond immediately. They don't let themselves kind of get pinned down by, by a team like Färjestad, especially not a team like Färjestad, who will make you pay. If you have to stretch your game out late, they will counterattack, and that's exactly what they live for. If Färjestad has like a multi-goal game, expect them to get a couple more just with how they're able to counterattack when the other team is forced to get aggressive. hREDS prevents that from happening literally on the next play, off the opening draw, after the goal was scored, and just a huge response from them, knotting this game up. But yeah, just a great period, back and forth action, chances at either end. We saw some saves, we saw a couple goals. It had a little bit of everything, and I can't wait for the second period to get underway. I mean, Färjestad, some more time in attack would help, but really they need to kind of focus a bit more on their breakouts, because hREDS is getting aggressive. They know one way to stop the quick counterattacks is to keep people back, but another way is to make those defensemen not feel comfortable with the puck. If a defenseman doesn't feel confident with the puck, he's not really going to be able to make those long stretch passes. He's going to need the forwards to drop back, and I think that's what hREDS is trying to key in on, to sort of slow down the stretch plays of Färjestad, make them break it out slower so they can set up that blue line hold.
Second period underway here, and indeed, we'll see what happens as we move forward. Game certainly up for grabs. Good poke check there at the line to slow down the offensive rush. So heading into this game as well, the face-offs, not mistaken, relatively close. Both of these centers over 50% on the season.
Yeah, 53.1 for Mullen, about 55 for Benito. So yeah, it's pretty even, as you said. So really it comes down to where those face-offs are won and when you get possession.
As that puck recovered in front by King of Apes. He's back at the point already. And working with Domi, he and Villapoika. Benito has it now. Villapoika takes the big hit. Loose puck is recovered by Nicky Dangles, but that follow-up pass off the mark. Ever so dangerous are hREDS in the attacking zone. You give them that second to get going. And they will find those open lanes. They're backing on the attack, but Nicky Dangles, another off pass.
Yeah, that one's, it can happen sometimes. You know, sometimes just gets hooked on to a bounce pass instead. But watch out, he's back in here on the rush.
Villapoika banks it off the side of the net, ran out of space. Again, can't take advantage of the space in the middle. Collapsed on him a bit too quickly. And all hREDS so far in terms of the offensive looks, but here's a chance down the other way. Mullen takes it to the house, but Fayez is able to make the stop. Great read by Mullen to know that pass was very unlikely to get through. Better positioning from FaZe there. Just a bit of space here over the line. Benito, again, quickly loses it. That's the issue, Sin. You find space over the blue line. You don't have much time to take advantage of that space.
Yeah, and you just seen it right there from Färjestad. You thought they would have had the space to take it in, but he's forced to kind of curl back lest he turns it over on the blue line and feeds that hREDS counterattack, which is, gotta say, it's looking just as good right now as Färjestad. They're able to usually catch them out with numbers. I've seen about 3 or 4 3-on-2s develop for hREDS.
They're back in possession here. Nicky Dangles the feed over to King of Apes. Still trying to fight for it, and he does. He has it down low. Chance there for Benito to get that pass. I actually think that was King of Apes still joining up in the rush. It was Benito covering for him. We know they're tending, there's a tendency to do that with these defense pairings really on both sides. There's the quick out, the bounce, Afe couldn't pull the trigger in time on the backhand. Faye is completely guessing the wrong way, and that is a mistake that you have to take advantage of if you're Färjestad.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate. I'm not too sure if he just kind of pulled to the backhand and got a weird animation or was just a tiny bit late on it. Nonetheless, hits the side of the net, and that's an opportunity you're not going to get a whole lot of. Well executed, but it goes by the wayside.
One-timer and a big blocker stop by McSavid. Very close call there. This one off the back of Afe. He won't be able to settle it down. Talk about a lucky save down the other way. McSavid caught going the wrong way. You see a dump and chase here. Nicky Dangle's going to win that one. Nice different look here for hREDS to gain the attacking zone. It's Domi now. Looking at his options. Goes back down to Benito. Captain waiting it out. Not being all that pressured. King of Apes shot doesn't get through from the point. We have under 4 minutes to go here in the second period. Afe nowhere to go. Again, hREDS getting the majority of the chances here in the second period. Still looking for that tie-breaking goal. Benito has it. That one doesn't get through. See what FBK can do here, going back down the other way. And again, Sin, unfortunately, I could just kind of see it coming there. I'm like, oh, I thought they lost it before they actually did. A few seconds later, they lose it again. They are really struggling to gain the zone consistently. We'll see what Antonio can do here. Good drop pass, better feed. What a play! Unfortunately, Afe just not able to get the majority of the shot there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if he just didn't get all of it. It may have hit a defenseman's leg and then trickled towards FaZe right there. Nonetheless, he smothers it. We have an offensive zone face-off on the way of Färjestad, who are unable to win it. Good win from hREDS, who now lead this period in face-offs, I think, 5-1.
30 seconds to go here in this second period. Another rush for hREDS. Villapoika for Nicky Dangles. Both guys still have a chance at it. Pass back. Benito with 2 seconds. Shot from the point, wired wide. That brings us to the end of the second, so no goals in that one, but hREDS looking the more likely to score. In a day, though, Sin, that doesn't mean too much.
Yeah, I mean, you could look likely to score. You can have the time on attack, but yeah, you said if you don't capitalize, doesn't mean a whole lot. I mean, think back a couple seasons ago when Jypi Vaskala kept dominating the play against Färjestad in that first round of the playoffs, but Färjestad just kept surviving, got the counterattacks that they wanted, scored, and ends up upsetting them in that series there. So, you know, it only goes so far unless you execute. And that kind of goes for both sides right now. Färjestad has had some good looks despite having that lower time on attack. Of course, they just failed to execute, especially on that huge counterattack. And against a team like hREDS who can seemingly suffocate you in all three zones, you're going to have to capitalize. This has really got kind of the feel of that playoff series between Jypi Vaskala and Färjestad. And hREDS right now is the team that's kind of dictating the pace of play.
Loose puck there, recovered by FBK in the neutral zone. All it takes is one opportunity here to find that difference-making goal. What hREDS can do there. Villapoika has it, but again, just nowhere to go. He is able to gain it back. Nicky Dangles back to him. Good defense by Furion there to get in front. That puck on net. Covered by Lehmann. See Antonio there having to take his time. Finds Mullen, drops back. Just nowhere for FBK to go as they try to gain the line. hREDS back in on the attack. Only momentarily, just a back and forth. Who's going to break first? Chance here for Antonio off the legs of a defender. hREDS now. Let's see what they can do on this opportunity as Nicky Dangles is going to be caught offside there. Big poke check. Antonio in all alone on the breakaway. It's knocked away at the last moments. Sin, another high-quality chance for FBK, and they don't even register a shot.
That's got hurt. I'm not even too sure what happened. It looked like he almost went for a one-hander and got kind of skewed. He got, like, the puck was poked and then he went flying. It's hard to say what happened, but yeah, you said it. Just another chance. It's been few and far between for Färjestad, and this time, not even registering a shot.
hREDS back in control here. We're nearing the halfway point of this period. Huge hit there. Villapoika down for the moment. hREDS still in on the attack, though. Here's Benito across for Nicky Dangles, but Lehmann's able to take that one away. Gets the outlet pass down the other side to Afe. Been neutralized in this game for the most part. Still only able to find Villapoika, but again, just no space. It's an opening goal for Furion, who you see with the puck there. They tried the quick out here with Afe, and an odd bounce is going to lead to an icing call. Tough break.
Yeah, that's a tough angle to line up. They want that corner for it to pop out at an angle that Afe can grab it and drive the net. Unfortunately, just a few inches off, so to speak, and it rims around the boards, which Antonio had a shot for, but that was well played by Domi. I think that was to cut the angle off.
Chance there in front, a penalty called. Sin, it was a good trip. It looked like Afe had a great chance on net. It'll be Domi going to the box. The first penalty of this game. Let's see what FBK can do. We have just over 8 minutes remaining here in regulation, but again, the draw going the way of hREDS. Benito has been immense in the faceoff dot so far.
Yeah, and that's really kind of becoming an issue here in this matchup, especially on your power play. You need to win that faceoff, and Mullen just hasn't been able to win so many in this one. They have entered the zone now.
Antonio held at the point there wisely. Lehmann gets the pass back and on the backhand phase. Able to make a big stop, one of the biggest of the game. Pressure here, though, from FBK, and it looked like Lehmann tried to chop it. Swung and missed, unfortunately. Färjestad down to 30 seconds left on the man advantage here. Good movement. Lehmann draws the trip. Villapoika will take a seat. Chance in front for Afe. And it got poked away as he was back skating towards goal.
And this is kind of what we've seen from hREDS at times. They start to let the penalties get out of hand. They got to stop it right now.
Chance here. One-timer, and they score! Furion has his second of the game. A power play tally for FBK. Sin, we'll see if they can hold the lead for longer than 10 seconds.
Well, I believe they scored within the 10 seconds that they had on the 5-on-3. Furion with another howitzer on the one-timer going bar and in. And yes, indeed, one man comes out of the box, one man stays. They will have another power play to work with. And this is exactly what we talked about. hREDS cannot get in the penalty trouble. This team just has too good of a power play. Eventually, they'll capitalize. They do it right here and have more power play time to work with. What a play right there. And that comes because Mullen and the team battled to win that tie-up draw. That was absolutely huge.
Eat your heart out, Shea Weber, with a shot like that. Picture perfect to the top corner. FBK in control of this game. We are still in a 5-on-4 situation. As Sid mentioned, they scored just in time to be able to stay on the power play. It's Villapoika in the box now for hREDS. With 5:40 to go. Be intriguing to see what type of strategy hREDS take here in terms of how aggressive they may choose to be. Laminens, pass in front, and score! Afe finds the space down low. 2 power play goals in as many chances for FBK. Sin, it's 3-1. Self-inflicted wounds for hREDS coming back to haunt them.
That was just deadly and picture perfect puck movement right there. Kick back up, kick back to the point, back up to the forward on the half, near the half wall. He kicks it across the middle. 2 options there to shoot. The man who gets it is Afe right there. As you can see Antonio cutting in. Afe just sort of back skated into the backdoor one-time position and tucks it home. I mean, goal scorers, goal goers, and Afe is a goal scorer. Färjestad taking a 2-goal lead here with 5:20 left in the third. What a turn of events there.
Then you mentioned it in the pregame. I mean, hREDS a top 4 penalty kill, but they've gotten a lot of practice, and there's another penalty. Their 3rd of the period. To my point, Sin, the most penalized team entering play today. 4th best PK, it's FBK with the league's leading power play, and they'll go to work. Picture perfect efficiency so far, 2 for 2. On as many shots. And if this one wasn't out of reach, another shorthanded situation, even if they don't score here, Sin, I mean, this is going to kill even more time.
Yeah, you better hope FaZe has the penalty killer trait, because they're going to have to push for offense right there. You saw it on that first play. They have to make something happen. It's just not enough time left, and FBK, they have a lot of opportunity here to extend that lead.
Here's Mullen, pass over Antonio. Afe nearly wheeled that one in. Big stop by FaZe, and there we go. There's the quick play out. Nicky Dangles able to find Villapoika. Has King of Apes down low. Can't control it on the first hop there. Ends up losing it there. Over 3 minutes to go. FBK back in control. Here's Laminens looking. Down low. Contact there. Mullen back to Furion. We are back to 5-on-5, but again, crucial time ticked away from the clock there for hREDS. Puck recovered. Very aggressive pinch. Perfectly done there by Domi. Still in the attacking zone. Pass in front, taken away by Antonio Mannon. Antonio tried to find Afe, just couldn't do it. Incredible amount of traffic there on the back check. Final minute, a 3-1 lead for Färjestad off the back of consecutive power play goals. Puck back to the point. It's Benito pinching in. Tries to find a puck on the line. Still there. How is it not in? And it's what just happened? The puck died on the line, and nobody could get the poke.
Oh man, that is a series of unfortunate events there for hREDS, who drive that middle. We're gonna see a timeout and a pause coming from them. I'm sure they're looking at that replay. I'm sure Färjestad is gonna want to avoid looking at the replay. They know they just dodged a bullet right there. And wow, I mean, it's a tough situation, right? I mean, kind of break it down mechanically. It's hard for a goalie. They can't really reach back and save it unless they knock it in. Defenseman, the most you can do is chop at it, but you'd have to go stick through the net, and it's just such an awkward situation. Nonetheless, big face-off here for hREDS.
A disastrous situation, to say the least. 35 to go. Still a 2-0 lead here for FBK. But Boyka tried to get that one in front. McSaven able to find it and cover.
Yep, time keeps ticking away at less than 30 seconds left. 29.4. hREDS have to score a goal here off this face-off.
Time face-off here, to say the least. Big win from Mullen. And a solid game for Benito in the dot. Mullen comes up big, but they can't clear it. Good interception by Furion there. Still fighting for it. Villapoika tried to get that one in front. Puck still bouncing around. Mullen taking a tour of his own zone. Interesting way to break free. He ices it with 7.8 to go, but Sin, this one done and dusted off the back of those 2 power play goals.
Yep, definitely. If this was a I'd be a lot more nervous about what he and Antonio had done there, kind of taking it back into their zone numerous times and getting the puck turned over. Oh, what a chance.
Chest wide yet again. One-timer! What a stop by McSaven at the end! A little bit of flair, sending a message with the pad stack. And that will do it for the opening game of this broadcast. And that had a little bit of everything.
It did have a little bit of everything, and I love to see it. I mean, what could possibly be some sort of semifinals matchup, the way things go between Färjestad and hREDS. We'll see what happens, obviously, with the seeding. I want to see these two teams in the playoffs. After that display, I want to see these two teams play again, plain and simple. It's exciting. And back and forth action, you know, both teams getting some zone time, but really it was the counterattack of Färjestad and that deadly power play that won them this game. And that's the kind of the narrative going into here. What's been hREDS' Achilles heel all season? It's taking penalties. And when they take one, they don't seem to just, oh, we took a penalty. Okay, let's kill this off. Oh, we may take one later. They take one, and then they kind of start to snowball. They'll take another one, and then another one. We saw it in the opening broadcast. I think it was against Havu, where they just took penalty after penalty after penalty, and they kind of did that there in that game, and that's what led to their demise. Is you cannot put a good team like Färjestad on the power play. They have a 37% on the power play this season, which just got better, by the way, over the course of that game. So I mean, when you're close to 40% on the power play, you don't want to give that team an opportunity. I mean, there's that first goal from Furion, just so well executed. By the way, works its way between a few bodies right there. Just that puck had eyes. Obviously, the response goal from hREDS coming mere seconds after that one. A quick tic-tac play laterally across. The first pass through. The second pass, it looked like McSaven thought that the shot was coming earlier. But then after that, the power play opportunities right here at Furion, just another howitzer, 2-goal evening for him. I mean, just so well executed off the tie-up. And that's great using kind of Afe as bait, because you think of him as the goal scorer. Furion had so much time and space right there to get it done, but just an excellent play, excellent patience there from Lehman's, waiting for the right time. You know, out of his peripherals, he had his eyes on Antonio and Afe. When were they going to get into position? When should he feed it to Malin so he could feed it back across the ice? That's just great execution from Färjestad, and why they have the most deadly power play here in the ECL Elite.
Absolutely. So again, a fantastic first game for FBK, able to take advantage of that power play opportunity that handed to him on a silver platter really there in the third period. Second game of two coming up between these two clubs. We'll be back after a quick word from our sponsors.
Wilhelm vie nakkikioskille kotikatsomossa.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back again. Big thank you to our sponsors this season at Wilhelm. Would you believe that someone on the East Coast can't bear the heat to be able to wear the jersey, but Sin on the West Coast of the U.S. can? What is wrong with this picture? We also want to thank Kovalan, Lakritzi, and Aviaplay, of course, for helping make this season what it's been. And Sin talking about what happens now. I believe we have a look at some of the results around the league, because, again, this is the final week of the regular season. Playoffs begin on Monday. And of course, as you just saw, Färjestad beating hREDS 3-1. Sawo Esports, a big win over Rusty Blades. Sin, it's all but confirmed. Rusty Blades have been automatically relegated. That's a story we'll have for you guys, or at least a little bit more on that heading into the playoffs, of course, but an incredibly disappointing season for that squad. And Sin, as we know, oftentimes teams that find themselves in that relegation spot, they don't stick around and players go their separate ways. So we'll see what happens there. Northern Ascendancy picked up a pretty big point against Philadelphia, but it looks to be too little too late. But Tunnel Vision taking both games over Poggers. Problem is, Tunnel Vision just 2 games left they're on 25 points, whereas Poggers have 4 games left and are 3 points ahead of them. So 4 games left, 3 points ahead. I think it's too little too late for Tunnel Vision to sneak into the playoffs in, but the fact is, barring a pretty drastic turn of events, they are likely to be safe in the Elite Division. There's a very good chance that the team that was in the basement for, or at least the bottom 2 spots for a decent amount of this season, aren't even going to have to fight for their survival, that they're just going to be fine, which again, we saw Sawo do it last year. There's just something in the water for some of these teams being able to figure it out midway through the season.
Yeah, but, you know, on to the point of Tunnel Vision, they did just beat Poggers. They prevented them from getting points, and Poggers is one of those 2 teams ahead of them. Yeah. So depending on how it goes, if Tunnel Vision's able to get a couple more wins, I mean, yeah, thank you for putting that up on screen. So yeah, they do, you know, move up to the 25 points, which is, yeah, they still have to essentially leapfrog to, other people need to lose, and they have I think too many games remaining. Yeah, you're right on that one. That's just unfortunate.
They may have ruined it for Poggers, though, because as you see, I mean, IQ is right there. Sawo's in the mix. So at the very least, if Tunnel Vision are going to fall a little bit short on being able to make it into that playoff situation, they have made it a lot more interesting for really the 6th through the 9th seeds heading into the final day of action tomorrow. And of course, there are still games being played. We'll try to keep all of you updated as we move along here. But for now, it's back to business here. hREDS and FBK, the second game of 2 coming up. And Sin, right now for Färjestad, it's an interesting situation. You might have caught it there, but the standings, granted, by the end of this next game, they'll be, Havu will have 2 games at hand on them. But Färjestad could technically jump Havu, or at least tie them in points, which would certainly make things interesting if FBK were to somehow take away that 3rd seed away from Havu. Not saying it's going to happen. They need a little bit of help. They would certainly have to get the win here. And looking at that Havu schedule here to wrap up this season, they play Goons tomorrow. Actually, no, they play Goons today, and they actually play Färjestad tomorrow. It's not a broadcasted game unless something changes there. It's the top 3 is not set. FBK have a wonderful chance here of punching their ticket to a matchup against a lower seed instead of potentially facing Goons, which, if you're Goons and you're staring down the barrel of having to play, I mean, Färjestad's bad enough, but having to play former champions in Havu, it's a rough spot to be in that 5th seed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just not obviously a rough situation regardless, but being in the playoffs is nice. But yeah, I mean, we're going to get a chance. Another look at that McSavid save, stacking the pads right there, and actually getting back for the what looked like the secondary opportunity as well. So impressive play by him. But yeah, I mean, this is absolutely massive. Again, hREDS, they want to make it. They want to make it that big 3. I think they've already kind of firmly done that with the championship appearance and what they've done the course of this season. But the fact remains, I mean, Färjestad looking to take big points, looking to take wins off of teams like this. I mean, that has implications in itself. We talk about, maybe it becoming a big 4. Färjestad maybe looking to secure the building blocks into doing that.
So again, a lot to play for here in this particular matchup, and still across the league. Our second game ready to get underway between these 2 clubs. FBK taking that opening game by the score of 3-1. Their 19th win on the year, up to 40 points. hREDS 45. See how this one goes down here again. Expect the unexpected has been our theme all season long. And this has been perhaps the most wild and unpredictable season we have ever seen. At least in our tenure here, broadcasters for NHL Gamer. It's hREDS, though, still in the attacking zone. Benito, of course, still the team leading scorer. Trouble there at the line. What a physical play by Afe to free that up. Domi's with them, short side, and it does not go. Good recovery there by Domi. King of Apes getting completely out-muscled by that small sniper build, Sin. We've seen Afe do that. Just because he has that smaller build doesn't mean he can't play the body.
Yeah, it's almost like you expect I can swat away this little mosquito, but then he just keeps bumping, bump, bump, bump. You're out of the zone. Oh, wait a sec. Oh, wait, I've lost the puck, and he's so fast he got around me and claimed it. I mean, how many times have we seen that? It's just insane what he's able to do with that build.
hREDS back in possession here now. Villapoika gains the zone, finds Benito down in the corner. Back to Domi at the point. Getting back down low, pass in front, and they score. Incredibly done there by hREDS. May have deflected off of a defender, but the end result is all the same. Sin Villapoika has the goal that gives hREDS the lead, their first lead of the night.
And that's a tough one to defend. I mean, they're kind of all over Villapoika there. He just got like a half a step on the play. You can see surrounded by both Färjestad and Malin trying to get there. But again, it's that split second, and that's what hREDS does so well. They capitalize on the split seconds of space with their passing ability, and they get the first marker here, 1-0. This is the position they want to be in. Try to force FBK to make decisions. What a dump, unfortunately. A step offside was Nicky Dangles.
You know, FBK respond. They try the quick out off the leg of a defender and I think into the bench. Maybe over the glass, just around there. One of the more interesting bounces we've seen. Here we go, another big face-off. We'll see how Malin's able to do in this particular game. Won some crucial draws, but for the most part it was Benito winning them. There's a big pickup there by Laminens. Let's get things back under control. Missed time here and an offside call. Sin, it's interesting how often we see these teams, though, going for the dump and chase. It's not exactly a staple in the European scene.
No, definitely not. And these teams definitely do it a bit more than most other teams, but you can tell it's just not part of the established meta right here by how often people do get caught, you know, one step offsides. They try to jump that play a little bit, as we just saw. 2 offsides, one for each team on the dump plays.
An interception there by Malin in the middle. Favorite show growing up. It's a pass there. Boost in front, just wide. See what happens going down the other way. Space for Villapoika here to try to make something happen. Down low. A lot of pressure there. Not able to hold on to it. Let's see what FBK can do. That back and forth pace was kind of a staple in that first game. Färjestad pinching in a little bit here. Malin has it now. They're going to toward the attacking zone as Färjestad pinches in. Malin tried to feed that one in front. Good defense on display. Bit of contact there. hREDS again not able to hold on to that one. And again, Sin just nowhere to go here through the neutral zone right now.
Yeah, and Afe almost got crushed there at the line. Laminens misses the puck.
hREDS in the attacking zone. Nicky Dangles, though, as it's stripped of him by Färjestad. There's 6 to go. hREDS tightening up defensively here with the lead again. FBK never trailed in that first game, so a different scenario to have to deal with here. We have seen it all season long. hREDS, their ability to turtle up and defend, amongst the very best in this league now at this stage. Again, despite some roster changes as well, the additions of Domi and Villapoika have been, I mean, almost immeasurable, Sin. How much, I mean, to factor in changes like that, you know, losing Yoki up top, but for this team to still be, I mean, just as good. It's really been incredible how well these players have fit in, and obviously brings a slightly different dynamic to the team as that pass in front is intercepted. Turnover. Villapoika tried to delay, but ran out of time. Speaking of which, here's another turnover. Villapoika pass over to Benito and a stop by McSavid. We're in the final minute of play here in the first period. And hREDS the opening goal with Villapoika. Still time for either side to do a little bit of damage here. Intercepted again. Here's Nicky Dangles. Benito, puck loose in front. McSavid's able to find it and get the cover, but in 3.3 seconds. It's a lot of time to work with.
Yeah, that's a lot of turnovers in their own end by Färjestad. The first few came from not moving the puck quick enough. The other one came from moving it just too quickly into traffic.
One-timer deflection bid. And remember that stop by McSavid with all that traffic in front. So it's a 1-0 lead for hREDS off of a, I mean, really just fantastic team goal.
Yeah, I mean, that's what hREDS seem to do. Again, we talk about those best teams. You know, yes, they have standout players, but they have everyone working on the same page, and they look like a single unit out there. And that's what hREDS have been able to do. I mean, numbers aside, everything aside, they're passing the eye test in that regard to be one of these top teams. when it comes to Färjestad right there, kind of struggling a bit in their own end. You know, the aggression coming up from hREDS, we saw a bit of it in the previous one, but now they're really throwing Färjestad off their game, as now Färjestad does not have that lead. They maybe feel like they have to stretch it a bit more as we see the 0 shots and 1 goal from hREDS and 1 shot, 0 goals from Färjestad. Kind of an interesting stat line there to say the least, but yeah, I'm actually curious how that happened. I guess the puck must have went off the defender and then trickled home. I guess that's the only way that counts like that.
Right. I thought that's what happened at the time. And yeah, Villapoika touched it, but it was tapped loose and went 5 holes. So it's definitely one of the more interesting score lines we've seen.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how that works with the goaltender's numbers. It's like that negative 100% or what, but either way, that would be a rough. Poor McSaven. Färjestad need a big response here in period 2 regardless.
I mean, you know, if you're hREDS, you might as well not take a shot on goal at any point to see if you can win and absolutely cripple the save percentage of McSaven. I'd be very intrigued to see how the game registers that, how the website would register that. NHLgamer.com, by the way. I mean, you know, hey, expect the unexpected. How you going to account for that, Kenu? How you going to account for a negative save percentage? I want to find out. It's FBK in control here, trying to battle their way back into this one. Still within striking distance, certainly. A long, long way to go. I think hREDS learned their lesson. Try not to take penalties.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see if they keep it up, especially when it comes to late in the 3rd period where they got into penalty trouble before. But, you know, well, I like their chances. They do seem to be pretty disciplined. It's, I think, when they're playing, you know, a bit outside of their element with urgency, or at least, you know, too much urgency. I mean, it's not that they're full on tilted, but there's the slightest of tilt coming out where they start to get a little bit careless with their sticks. And again, we've seen it on display all season. Not too much speculation anymore. If there's anything to clean up, it's definitely that. But the rest of the game's looking great here.
Yurion keeps this one in the attacking zone. Shot on, blocked down. Big interception by Lehmanens to keep it in the attacking zone. And Sin, there it is. Domi going to take the trip here. A power play for FBK. They were 2 for 3 in that first game en route to victory.
Yep, so another huge opportunity there for Färjestad to tie this one up. Faceoff's looking a bit better, but he loses the crucial one on the power play. Once you lose that zone, it's so hard to get it back, as you see Benito up there. Trying to maybe get a bit of a cheeky counterattack. Goes just off sides off that long dump play. That was shades of the Mighty Ducks right there.
Dangerous, but it does send hREDS back into their own zone. But another face-off won by Benito, and a quick exit, at least back to the neutral zone. FBK tried to get right back in on the attack. A great poke check. Have another face-off.
Not a whole lot of time and space right there. Again, that's what we talk about. You lose that zone initially, it's so hard to gain it back. That's why face-offs can become so important, especially on the power play, as Benito wins another one. Just fantastic job right now with his team shorthanded.
Much better penalty killing attempt here overall from the team. Time half gone on the man advantage for FBK. We'll see what they can do on this breakout. And absolutely nothing is the answer. Sin, I think that shows why hREDS are so good defensively. It's tough enough to break past the blue line when they only have 4 players, let alone 5.
Yeah, and that's something that FBK is looking to get kind of frustrated with. Another lost face-off. I mean, that's really an issue right now for Mullen. He's got to find a way, something to win these face-offs. Right now, Benito's just in his head.
Mullen has it here. Antonio Mannon looking, tries to go back to Mullen. Still fighting for it. We're back to 5-on-5. Tremendous kill there for hREDS. Best their PKs looked all day. Chance here for Domi. Able to find in space again. hREDS entered play today with a top 5 PK. You wouldn't have known it for that performance in the first game, but just how fine the margins are, I suppose. We are halfway through this second period. Still a 1-0 lead in this one. Mullen to Antonio, knocked loose at the last moment. A big hit there as Domi able to slow things down for hREDS. King of Apes able to find Nicky Dangles in a bit of space. Tried to throw it on second chance, just wide on the far side. Benito with a gift. He just couldn't make the most of it. King of Apes for Nicky Dangles in front again. Benito was there. Chomping at the bit, nearly finding the back of the net. Has another chance. What a stop by McSavid, but another penalty against hREDS. Sin all that offensive momentum. They can't make the most of it. And then they have another penalty to deal with. Nicky Dangles takes a seat.
That's a rough one, a high stick right there. You don't see stickless too often, and that's part of the reason why. Very difficult to kind of land properly in this edition. But what saves by McSavid coming out, giving his team a chance, and now FBK get it on in the offensive zone on the power play.
Antonio Laminen's the former Vesa Pampa duo working it at the point here. Slowly trying to creep in. Laminen's from Mullen, nowhere to go on the pass. Villapoika stripped of the puck. Mullen able to recover, looking, puck in front, and Villapoika's there again. Take that one away. We're halfway through this man advantage. And a big time poke check there by King of Apes. More time. Off the clock. 30 seconds to go on this power play. They try the dump in, looking to pressurize King of Apes. Nearly turned over there. Afe and Mullen fighting for it against Domi. Still a scramble for it. Afe sends it back around. Man out of the box. Laminen's trying to keep it in. Picture perfect PK from hREDS again. Villapoika trying to weave his way through as we have 4 minutes to go here in the second period. FBK looking for their opening goal here. Easier said than done. Afe got it in front, but Mullen couldn't find it. But a much better performance from hREDS overall. And I don't know if hREDS, again, just 5 losses on the season. I don't think that they've been doubled up. There's a shot on there. They have been doubled up and lost both games of a series. It could have only happened once, I would imagine, against one of the top teams. I'll have to look into that. But it just goes to show you as to why. Like, their ability to adjust. You've seen it here against FBK. Here we go. Final few seconds. One more rush attempt. Broken up. Afe gonna fight for this one. Gets it to Antonio. Loose puck in front, and Laminen's couldn't get the shot off. 1 second to go. That shot on net, and McSavid forced to make a toe stop in the dying seconds. Then a 1-0 lead for hREDS carrying into the third period.
Yeah, and Färjestad they got a whole lot of nothing on those power plays. I don't think they registered a single shot, maybe one. I know they didn't on the first one, and that second one, it looked kind of better at the beginning, like they're working the perimeter, but they didn't get hREDS moving whatsoever. hREDS didn't feel like they had to go out of their position at all. And if that's the case on the power play, you're not doing something right. You got to be able to sort of move the defenders out of position there, and they simply weren't able to do that. So despite the power play time, nothing to show for it, nothing to show in this game, 0 goals, and it's, again, credit to hREDS for, as you said, making the adjustments needed, and just on a time, honestly, like a period-by-period basis, they've really done that, and they were able to counterattack onto Färjestad of obviously getting into some penalty trouble again. That's kind of an adjustment they've failed to be able to make throughout the course of this season. However, with that penalty kill ability, as we saw on display, once they clear that zone initially, it's very easy for them. Benito has been lights out on the face-offs, as wins another one right there.
Here we go, third period underway. And coming up after this matchup, ZSC Esports take on YMCA Esports. Chance there as the pass goes wide.
Hello there.
Kept in the attacking zone now. Nicky Dangles. Benito was sent back to the neutral zone. hREDS not able to complete the passes there. FBK, though, struggling on the breakout. Physicality's picking up. Benefits hREDS, again, one of the more physical teams in the league. As again, they go for the dump and chase. Villapoika's in there all alone. Back to Domi at the point, holding along the half wall. Back down low around the back of the net now. Finds its way to the point. He dangles. That pass intercepted. See what FBK can do going back down the other way here. Over the line, Afe. Been neutralized for the most part. He does have a goal tonight, but the chances he's accustomed to getting, we've really only seen one of those. Hit the side of the net. 6 minutes gone now, and then you think, oh, okay, we still have 14 minutes, but that time ticks down fast as Antonio Mandan has it down low in the corner. Back to Laminen's at the point. Exploring his options. Furion now. Back to him. Shot can't get through the traffic. Afe tried to settle. They'll recover along the half wall and dish back to the point. D to D, one-timer, great block by King of Apes. Furion again looking to step in. Holding it down low in the corner. Can he find an outlet pass? The answer's no. hREDS back in control, nothing to show for it with that offensive attack time for FBK, but hREDS quickly turn it back over. And Sin, they almost seem content to just turtle up and try to have this be a 1-0 finish unless they can get that counterattacking goal.
Yeah, and oh, that's a great turnover forced by Antonio.
But he can't get the shot off. King of Apes, what a performance. Not just an offensive defenseman. His games continue to improve year in and year out. Villapoika stood up by Laminins. Mullen trying to go down the other way. Indirect pass, still doesn't work out. Just 8 minutes to go now. Big stretch pass, intercepted by Mullen. Can't gain the attacking zone, too much traffic. King of Apes has it here once more. That one knocked down. Big stretch pass finds its way to Benito. Self-sauce for speed. Pass across is denied. Another big stop by McSaven. Trying to stop this one from getting out of hand, but you can't stop that one. Villapoika buries his second of the game. And hREDS take a 2-0 lead late in the third.
That's just a heartbreaker there for Färjestad. They were looking good. They were sort of getting chances, but then, you know, they had a 3-man forecheck going, trying to force the turnovers, couldn't quite do it. And hREDS, I mean, just what a play. You see it right there as Lehman and starting himself up the ice. They have to look for that offense, but when that turnover happens, he just gets caught in the slightest amount, gives Villapoika the space needed to get in there, and he finds that little seam. The pass gets through Furion, who's unable to get the intercept. They score 2-0 here late in the third, and it's hard to see Färjestad coming back in this one with the amount of chances they've been able to generate. It's just the volume is simply not high enough, and the quality is simply not there. hREDS are protecting their slot, they're protecting their blue line, they're protecting every single space needed to secure a 1 or 2 goal victory, and they're doing it with incredible precision.
6 minutes to go here. We'll see if FBK can manage to turn this around. Villapoika with the goals. Entered play today, top 10 in scoring, and a penalty called here. Well, Sin, if there was a chance for FBK to get back into it, now's the time. Domi takes his second penalty of the game.
Face-off has to be won. Mullen has to win this by any means necessary.
There's the tie-up. He gets a set play and a big stop by FaZe. They tried that quick 1-T with Furion. Sin, this time he didn't go back across the body, so FaZe just kind of naturally gliding to defend that top corner.
Yeah, maybe thinking he would catch FaZe trying to overcorrect from the goal scored last time as they have another chance there.
Interesting plays, and Afe on the doorstep couldn't find a way to put that one home. Lehman's able to recover. Power play goal is a must at this stage. Big interception by Villapoika. He finds Benito. One man to beat. Has help with Villapoika. He's on the brace looking for the hat trick. Slap shot blocked down. And here comes FBK. They have space over the line. Mullen back to Furion. Looking. Lehman's tried to go back to Mullen. It was intercepted for the moment. Lehman's again looking for space. Pass across, broken up. Second chance. Can't get that one on target. And a tripping call here against FBK. And hREDS are going to outright get a power play here the full 2 minutes as we're back to 5-on-5 for all of a second. And Sin goes from bad to worse for FBK. Huge chance here on the draw for hREDS to ice this one. In case it wasn't over to begin with, FBK have to be aggressive and look for that shorty.
Yeah, they have to. You see Afe way up the ice right there. He's got to try to conserve some energy, some stamina. It's a, oh man, here's a 2-on-1 though.
Villapoika tried to get that hat trick, but couldn't tuck it on the inside post. Benito to Villapoika, there it is! The hat trick for Villapoika, and hREDS take a 3-0 lead. Villapoika on the verge of hitting 30 goals on the year. What a performance for him.
And that will likely do it. The hat trick goal, what a game he had. But, I mean, the recipient of some great feeds as well. Look at that pass. Great vision from Villapoika to shoot that gap right there behind the defense. Again, we talked about it. Färjestad had to look for offense. You know, they'd be going kind of all or nothing. So this goal, a bit of icing on the cake or salt in the wound if you are Färjestad. Nonetheless, a loss is a loss at this point. And they just simply couldn't capitalize on a chance that they had, and their power play just didn't have any sort of life really until that last one. And even then, it was kind of a self-inflicted wound that cleared the puck out of the zone.
2 minutes to go in this one. Perhaps a missed opportunity for FBK to make that push for the top 3. Turnover here, Villapoika maybe looking for 4. They try the quick out, and again, it hasn't been there. It's been a phenomenal performance from Domi and King of Apes in that regard.
Yeah, not only having a guy back there on Afe trying to at least stay in his face right there, but also blocking those outlets to begin with. I mean, you kind of learn as a defenseman where those angles are likely going to come to, sort of reverse engineer them, so to speak, know where you kind of need to be in a general sense to block the best angle.
And a goal there. For anyone thinking shutout, well, Faye is unfortunately not able to hold on to it in the final minute. FBK get the goal. It's Afe, his second of the night, for the league's leading scorer, and sent a tough break on that one.
That is, talk about puck sneaking through. It sneaks through the first defenseman who went down into the dive to sort of block it, and then it snuck through the 5-hole of FaZe. So there's 51 or so seconds left. You never know what can happen. If FBK can get another quick one, it's a game. It's already kind of a game here. And with FBK, it was poked by Nicky Dangles. That's a rough one. It's not a bad play, but yeah.
At the very least, Sin, always playing for goal differential. You never know what situation you might find yourselves in. I mean, right now, all that's confirmed in the league is the top spot, Philadelphia, with the wins tonight, securing their spot as defending champions. They will be our #1 seed, and of course we know the bottom of the bracket, Rusty Blades, automatically relegated. Everything else is up for grabs, so you play until that final horn, as Laminance can't get that shot through. Mullins' follow-up pass, nowhere to go. Villapoika was in his face. Here's Nicky Dangles, has space. Villapoika hits the side of the net on the backhand, just ran on a runway. They try the quick out. Chance for Afe, big flying poke check. He actually never really had full possession of it. One-timer for Furion doesn't go either. You have to wonder, where was this from FBK? They have hREDS on the back foot, shot by Mullen, covered, played out by FaZe, just trying to kill the time. 5 seconds to play. Mullen tries to throw it on, hits the side of the net. Nicky Dangles will kill the clock. Penalty taken there. And Sin, that'll do it. So a big bounce back performance there. 3-1 for Färjestad, then 3-1 for hREDS. A nice back and forth series between these two. Nice of a playoff series as it would be. Unlikely to meet one another, but hey, you never know. I'd certainly be down for that series.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a great series by the pair of them, really. And yeah, you saw the bit of frustration coming out from Färjestad. You said it. Where was that the rest of the game? That desperation level. It's just they weren't able to gain it. Maybe hREDS took, a step back, was really trying to protect the net, and so it gave them a bit more space. But yeah, nonetheless, it was too little too late for Färjestad. And yeah, you could see some frustration coming out from Mon with that dive at the end. Maybe not satisfied with this performance on the draws, although he did do much better into that second game. However, they did still lose it. It really did come down to some of those key face-offs on the power play, especially, and Färjestad just couldn't find the space, and they were just suffocated by hREDS for the majority of that game. And that's what hREDS, we talked about it, they do so well. That's the mark of those great teams. They make adjustments, they never let their foot off the gas, and they alter the things that need to be altered on a season-to-season basis, not much less game-to-game basis as well.
So a huge set of points there, really, for both teams, as FBK gain some valuable separation from Goons to try and secure that 4th seed. The dream maybe slightly alive to be able to catch Havu in the 3 spot there, but for hREDS as well, they get valuable separation from Havu to try and secure that 2 seed again. This is the penultimate day of the regular season. Tomorrow is the finale. We will have more information for you on that. Of course, tomorrow's broadcast and finish, but keep in mind, we are not done yet here tonight. That was just our first matchup of 2. On the opposite side of the break, we will be back with another big matchup that has playoff implications. It is ZSC Esports, a recently promoted club, trying to secure their right to play in the Elite next season without having to go into a relegation playoff battle against YMCA Esports. Perhaps according to some, an underdog team that have pushed their way into a playoff spot. We'll see if they can hold on down the stretch. We'll be back in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with those next 2 games for you.
Wilhelm vie nakkikioskille kotikatsomossa.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Tuki here, of course, joined alongside my broadcast partner in Sin. Welcome to more ECL Elite Division action right here on NHL Gamer. Of course, brought to you, as you just saw, by our friends at Wilhelm, Kouvolan Lakritsi, and Viaplay. Sin, we are ready for another very interesting matchup here. We'll set the stage for you all, but first, let's take a look at the latest results around the league, because of course we have had some more results from today's action sorted in here. Of course, you would have seen hREDS take on Färjestad, splitting that series just a few moments ago. Sin, a big result for both hREDS and Färjestad, as Goons able to take a result off of Havu. A phenomenal result there. Philadelphia was in action, taking both games in overtime against Northern Ascendancy. Philadelphia clinching the #1 seed. Northern Ascendancy, though, too little too late for a playoff team last year. They are going to be on the outside looking in, but it does look as though they could potentially be safe from having to fight a relegation battle there. And of course, Sawo as well, doubling up Rusty Blades, who have confirmed to be automatically relegated. Sawo pushing for a playoff spot. And as it stands, Sin, we'll take a look at the standings. Sawo currently find themselves technically in 6th, at least according to the website here, but it does have YMCA in 6th because of the 2 games at hand. Of course, the left-hand side of the bracket is where you want to be. Keep in mind, 13, 14, and 15 have to fight to stay in the Elite Division with some of the best from the Pro. 16 automatically down. So again, Rusty Blades, as you can tell, 10 points. You can't make up a 9-point gap at the very least. Rusty Blades are out. But Sin, as we talked about here, depending on what happens with that 3 and 4 seed, Färjestad could push Havu for that 3rd spot. And then from there, the top 5 is pretty much set. It gets interesting around 6, 7, and 8. Because as you can see there, all 3 of those teams on 30 points, a difference in games played. But IQ right now, I'd argue, Sin, the lone team, still within striking distance, because you look at Yipivaskala, you look at Vesapampa as well. 9 points off the pace, 4 games to go. It seems as though it's just going to be who misses out between YMCA, Sawo, Poggers, and IQ.
Yeah, and as of right now, I mean, IQ 3 points out. They do have the 2 extra games in hand, but yeah, the late kind of magical run from Tunnel Vision will fall flat, as they mathematically cannot make their way into the playoffs now with just 4 points in hand remaining, or 4 possible points remaining. They can only get to 29, and you see right there the 6, 7, 8, all with 30 points. So unfortunate for them, but perhaps, battling their way and staying out of that relegation position, just as huge for them. But yeah, I mean, it's really kind of getting down to it. YMCA, Sawo, Poggers, and even IQ. If IQ have a big end to it with those, 2 extra games in hand over Sawo and Poggers, they might be able to sneak their way in.
So much to play for. Of course, our featured matchup, the battle of currently 6 and 14. YMCA upcoming tomorrow. They take on Sawo. So in case you wanted to know how important this matchup is for them, Sawo breathing right down their necks right now. And of course, for ZSC, you saw them. If the season ended as it stands, they'd have to fight for their survival. They take on Yipivaskala tomorrow, Sin, and the loser of that series, that game is scheduled to be on broadcast. The loser of that series will have to fight in a relegation battle. So both of these teams have so much to play for here in this matchup. And obviously, Sin, the big difference here, the offense of YMCA versus the struggling defense of the ZSC Lions.
Yeah, I mean, the offense hasn't been there at times for YMCA, but they do have that positive goals against ratio. That's what you want. You want to kind of, especially if you want to, be in the playoffs here. But these are huge points, and if they let any of them slip away from ZSC, that kind of puts a thorn in their side heading into the playoffs. YMCA is gonna want to get the 2-0 here. I don't think they'll accept anything less out of today's match. And ZSC, I mean, they're essentially, fighting potentially for their lives. I mean, getting in that relegation position position doesn't feel good. You have to, fight to stay in the division. So they're going to be working and trying to do everything. We're going to see a bit of a different lineup for them as well, as we're going to see in a minute.
Absolutely. So we'll take a look at the team lineups here. For ZSC, you have Timotei, the captain, original Snus, and Berkadal up top. Tony on defense, but not with Haldim. It's with Freeman, who started this season as the main option at right wing. Chich between the pipes as well for the Lions. On the flip side here for YMCA, it is JM, Timothy, and Moja. Jamoy and Nilanderi on defense. Benna between the pipes. And as we always do, Sim, we'll start off with that center matchup here. Snus against Timothy. Now, Snus, of course, in terms of, we'll call him a prolific scorer in basically every other division under the NHL Gamer umbrella. He's been there, done that. 23 points in 26 games, probably not the pace he was expecting. Or on the flip side for Timothy, respectable numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the face-off battle, it's, both of them just sub 50%. Timothy, a few percentage higher than original Snus. But yeah, I mean, neither of these guys have like the top tier scores besides, maybe JM, as we'll get to see him on the winger side of things. But I mean, yeah, for Timothy, I mean, making the transition to center is an adjustment to say the least, but he hasn't done too bad this season.
Absolutely not. We'll take a look here at the winger battle now as well. Again, Timotei and Berkadal against JM and Moja. Now, of course, in the matchup that stands out to me, Berkadal, of course, kind of a late addition to this lineup in terms of when he started his season, but he's at a point per game pace, and JM as well, 27 goals in 26 games.
Yeah, a couple really good goal scorers on either wing there for ZSC. Timotei and Berkadal, 12 for Timotei, 7 for Berkadal, both tremendous paces when it comes to the goal scoring. But yeah, JM in the top 10 right now for goal scoring in the elite division with his 27, just over 1 goal per game. That's always a nice pace to be on. And Moja, racking up some of those assists, still able to put the puck in the back of the net, and both of them I like it, over 40 points. JM actually closing in on almost averaging the 2 points per game, but dangerous swingers to say the least for YMCA.
On defense now, of course, we mentioned it. Tony, who has been a staple on the blue line, is alongside Freeman, who again started off this season on the wing. He is the team's leading goal scorer, so an interesting change there. Gamoy on the other side with Nilanderi, two guys who have put up pretty respectable numbers for defensemen.
Yeah, definitely respectable, but definitely on the lower tier when it comes to your top pairings here in the elite and who you want, to be in one of those, top performing playoff teams. So if they could, get a few more points here and there, be a bit more of a threat on the line, that would only serve to benefit YMCA. But yeah, Freeman, I mean, I'm not too sure how long or how many games he's played defense here for this squad. So it's hard to kind of take his numbers there at face value, but we know he's a talented player. He's able to score some goals. He's able to kind of find himself in soft spots. So I'll be, interested to see how he handles playing that right defense here.
And on the back end here, the battle of the netminders, Chich against Benna, both elite rookies this season. Chich, solid numbers overall. We see a lot of goaltenders hovering around that 75% save percentage. Benna, though, very much in the running for Rookie of the Year.
Absolutely. 83% save percentage, 2.15 goals against. Then he has a couple shutouts. You see, I hesitated before I said that. Shout out to when I absolutely screwed him over there out of a shutout with mere seconds remaining, because I had to do the caster's curse on him and say it before the time was up. But I mean, great numbers out of Bennett throughout the course of the season. I mean, just a confident goaltender and incredibly capable, and a big reason YMCA find themselves in that playoff position.
Absolutely. So, Sin, I do believe we have the time here to be able to take a look at the keys to success for both of these sides. We'll start off with ZSC and what they need to do heading into the action today. I mean, Sin, that first point kind of says it all.
Yeah, it's a high-pressure situation, high altitude, up in the Alps right there. Not our strongest pun, but, we're whipping them out anyway. Where the well's running dry here at the end of the season. It's not a stat that really can be measured, but we're going to find out how ZSC can handle the pressure of games like this. They do have games in hand. Essentially, they're controlling their own destiny when it comes to avoiding a potential relegation spot. However, their opponent in YMCA, a tough one to kind of go up against. The next point here is shuffling the deck. Freeman, starting the season off on the right wing side, now finds himself on the blue line at this stage in the season. It's a bold strategy to drop back your leading goal scorer onto the blue line, but there's no denying Berkdahl has been very solid when he's slotted in this season. The third and final point here is to stay disciplined. ZSC, a very physical team, but that can get them into trouble. And given that they have the second worst penalty kill in the league, it's probably best that they stay out of the box in this matchup.
And of course, the 3 keys here for YMCA as well. Sin, what do we got?
Well, the first point here is U2. They are another physical team, is YMCA, with an even lower rated penalty kill. Do not shoot yourselves in the foot. You're in the playoffs, but you're in a 3-way tie with some other teams. Yes, you have 2 games in hand, but you don't want to take any chances. The second point here is just money, and that's definitely what JM stands for. Confirmed. Don't ask him, please ask us, rather than the abbreviation of perhaps his name. Point being, over a goal per game pace, and he's a big reason as to why YMCA are in the position that they're in right now. And then there's Benna, perhaps the biggest reason as to why YMCA has exceeded the expectations put to them by the panel of experts. Not me. Go Burger Boys. Let's go. On the verge of clinching a playoff position. Benna, perhaps even getting that Rookie of the Year award as well. He's had a tremendous season.
Absolutely. So again, for YMCA, continuing to defy everyone's expectations except for Sin's, as we know. Again, very interesting to see how it's going to play out at this stage, as mentioned. So we get a look here at some of the action from earlier in the Färjestad hREDS option. Fair enough. Hey, there we go. Teams are in the lobby, Sin. Now, here's the thing. That goal.
Let's go.
That goal, though, that goal is a fine example of what both of these teams need to look to do. So you can call that what you want. I don't call that a production snafu. I call that motivation.
Yeah, and unfortunately, since there's no FBK in this lineup, no sharpshooter, but nonetheless, we're going to have to see those goal scorers coming out and on display from either of these two teams. And ZSC, they've really got to be able to put it together. I mean, we've seen at times their flashes of great offense. It's just their defense that's been the issue, and oftentimes early on getting a little roughed up on the back, and especially Chich, not in bad position, but not really exactly getting rewarded. And YMCA, they're hungry. They've been in similar situations like this, battling for the playoffs. They have the experience in this elite division. They got to be licking their chops right now, taking on this newer team in ZSC Esports.
Absolutely. You got to look at the lineups there for tomorrow's action. The regular season finale. That broadcast will be in Finnish. Sure, Sin and I will be bouncing around there in chat, though, trying to get an eye on how everything's going to play out. And an early chance there as Chich will throw that one down the ice. Again, we'll see how this plays out for these two teams. Valuable points up for grabs for different reasons, of course. YMCA trying to gain and secure that playoff spot, whereas for ZSC right now, it's all about trying to avoid one of the 3 relegation battle spots. Again, the 13, 14, and 15th ranked teams will have to fight for their survival against a pro division club looking to join the league. That's how ZSC gained entry into the elite division last year, and you see now just how difficult it is to try and not end up right back in one of those situations. A good chance there. Timotei looking for Berkdahl, feeds Freeman at the point. One-timer and a big deflection from Timotei. Decent looks from ZSC, and Sin, from what we've seen of the Lions this season, they don't have any issue trying to throw the puck on net.
They don't, and I really like when they do it. They always seem to have a guy in position for the rebound or the deflection. That being said, testing the short side, JM Demosia unable to capitalize.
Hands down the other way now. Timotei with Snus drops back to the chance for Tony. Another backhand opportunity. Unbelievable. Tony loves to pinch in on the attack, and you can see why, although the accuracy failing him a little bit there. Pass in front to Snus, tried to throw one on. And again, Tony able to recover. Huge hit there, drops Berkdahl. We'll see YMCA try to go the other way. Incredible pace here for the first 7 minutes or so to this one.
Yeah.
See if it's able to hold up.
Next stoppage, though, Tony's going to go get himself a new stick. 2 huge opportunities with the goalie out of position. He just whiffed.
Good short side look there from Timotei. The team leading scorer with the gold bucket there. Turnover, Timotei's in, and he scores! Chances in bunches for the ZSC Esports squad. Timotei has the goal. What a start here for the Lions. Fantastic goal.
Yeah, and that was just a case of great forechecking pressure and YMCA being a little too cute with the puck, a little lackadaisical breaking that puck out. They've definitely got to clean that up. Cannot take a team like any team for granted, but especially a team with as much to lose as ZSC. You're playing with fire in that regard. YMCA going to have to tighten things up a little bit in their own end because ZSC, they can and will make you pay if you make a mistake.
Great early goal for them, putting the pressure on YMCA. That shot wired just wide by Original Snus. Great opportunity. We're halfway through this first period. No signs of things slowing down. Here's Timothy, able to find JM, but not able to pull the trigger on the shot. That one knocked loose. Tony has it now. The toe drag from the defenseman. Simply ran out of space. JM once more to Timothy. Back again. Chance. What a play. What a stop by Chich. It was a great look from Nylanderi to be able to feed JM right back. Play out of Sin's back pocket there. Sin, they've been watching you play.
Yeah, well, it must have been. That's not just, a common and well-worked play. Definitely my influence there, yes. Boost that ego.
God, the perfectly impartial commentary for Sin when it comes to commentating YMCA games. The quick out there. Snus almost settled that one down. Great look. Fantastic energy here to this first period. Chance there. Moja tried to feed JM. There's the trip, though, and Sin, we mentioned it. They can get in trouble with the penalties. That PK has been rough. Huge chance here for YMCA.
Yeah, they don't have a bad power play. 25% over the course of this season. They're going to need a big one here, but well won right there. Worked out by Freeman. Just kind of coasts along, dumps that one to back in, killing off a solid probably 30 seconds till they get it back into the zone.
Timothy quickly back to JM. Good quick movement. JM involved. Pretty much every look so far. Demoy back down to Timothy in front. JM just wide of the far side post, and that one sent all the way down by Freeman. Great look there.
Yeah, really good patience from ZSC when they're kind of breaking that out. They're not just sending it down. They're taking their time, trying to kill every single second.
Mosia looking around here. Goes to Nylanderi, gets it back one more time. One-timer, stopped by Chich. Puck still loose. Recovered by Timothy. Shot scores! What a feed to find Moja in the far circle. YMCA tie it on a power play goal.
Picture perfect execution from YMCA, hungry around the net, going for the rebounds. Timothy gets the puck, protects the puck, and in doing that, Moja finds a soft spot. Look at him drifting. Oh, just a perfect positioning from Moja right there in between ZSC. There's not a whole lot they can do defensively on that. They're kind of playing it near perfect right there, and just the slightest effort to slide from Moja right there opens it up, and a great shot, and Chich, not bad positioning, but that puck seemingly had eyes, capitalizing on the power play. YMCA tying this one up late in the first.
A huge goal there. Moja as well. 16 goals on the season, and a big stop by Chich there. Timothy denied. Timothy another chance there. Elected to pass to JM, couldn't get it through. We have 2 minutes to go here in the first period. Again, the first game of 2 between these two clubs. Last regular season broadcast for Sin and I. The season finale tomorrow in Finnish. This very channel. Chance here now for Timotei. One man to beat. Nylanderi's with him. Timotei off the toe drag. Couldn't hold on to it. One more rush here for YMCA. 7 seconds to play, and they can't time it at the line.
Yeah, not a bad look right there as trying to move laterally, get it onto the side, maybe try to hit someone for a high slot near the point one-timer is often a common thing you may see at the end of a period. A bit more prevalent in the NA scene, but, if space opens up, could work.
Ooh, was that shot too little too late? So a 1-all scoreline at the end of the first period. YMCA giving up a goal on the only shot on target they surrendered, but not really a fair stat for a ZSC Sin. I think that is a period for that team that shows why we need shot attempts, not just shots on target.
Yeah, definitely, because especially when it came to Tony there with his two that missed the net when he really had Benna swimming in the net and YMCA completely losing contain on him. But yeah, definitely. I mean, the shot attempts would really be nice to see because YMCA has gotten in front of a few as well. Blocking shots, they definitely tightened up defensively as that period went on after kind of a slower start, so to speak. But if you're ZSC, got to try to find the spark that you found in the beginning there, and YMCA keep trending in the direction you're trending, because they continue to look good as this game has progressed.
A win for YMCA moves them from the 8th seed up to the 6th, and they'd still have a game at hand on the other 3 clubs. There are 4 clubs right now battling for 3 spots, and a chance on the short side. JM finds the goal. YMCA scores. They're up 2-1.
And that's one of those plays you'll really only see here executed to that well in this elite division. That's something ZSC is going to have to get kind of used to. I mean, that's so little space to fit that puck through with the net there, with defenders bearing down, but he fits it through, and JM capitalizes. I mean, Chich just, played it as well as he could. That's so hard to beat. It's a shot on. Well saved by Benna right there. Nice counterattack attempt from ZSC after the goal was scored.
JM entered play today, 9th in the league in terms of goal scoring. Leading the team as well. He gets that one, his 28th of the year. What a performance it's been for him. Let's see how ZSC are able to respond. Again, right now, things looking good for YMCA. It'll be the big thing to watch tomorrow. YMCA, IQ, Sawo, and Poggers. One of those teams will miss out on the playoffs by the narrowest of margins. Last year, I think it was Poggers who missed out by 1 point. So we'll see what happens here. Some of these teams used to that end-of-season heartbreak. Chance here for JM again. Tried to feed the man in front. Timothy just not able to get on the receiving end of that one. Glued to the action here. Glued towards trying to look at the live table in the league. Just a constantly evolving situation. Teams, 1 second you're up, the next second you're down. Don't really know where everyone's going to finish in the league, even at this stage. It's going to go down to the wire. Great chance there. Snus shot scores! What a snipe from the captain! We're tied at 2. Sin just his 5th goal of the year. Incredibly bad luck for him in terms of a shooting percentage, but he finds the back of the net on that one.
Yeah, and it couldn't have come at a more important time as he got the puck, sort of settled it down, thought about the pass. Right there, he thought about it, kind of pulled it back. Almost an off-balance shot, but enough power on it. Goes bar and in, and look at him with that half cage right there. Huge goal, tying that game up for ZSC.
So a huge goal there. Sin, we were corrected in chat, because if I'm not mistaken, it may have been a bit of a soft spot for him previously, but EA Bunka mentioning that for Poggers, it was a 1-goal differential. I think the season before it was a 1 point, if I'm not mistaken. Point being, that Poggers squad has had, some interesting moments in the past. They're going to hope to make it here, but unfortunately, YMCA right now in a very good spot to keep them on the outside looking in, but ZSC again fighting for their survival. Big stop by Benna. Incredibly fast-paced game here. Back and forth, to and fro. One timer from the point, blocked down. Puck still alive. Timotei couldn't pull the trigger. Berkadal bumped off the puck. It'll be Moja back in control here. Not for long. ZSC went it straight back. Snus tied this one just moments ago. Shot on deflection, scores! Timotei gets a piece in front. ZSC from 2-1 down. Lead 3-2 beyond the midway point of the period.
What a turn of events, and we've seen them do this. I mean, time and time again throughout the course of the season. It's kind of their bread and butter. The shots from the corner point right there, and that time it was the forward kind of looping around and sending it on net, I believe. And yeah, it was a deflection. I mean, pretty tough deflection to make, but he does it, burying it right there, taking the lead. We're going to see a timeout coming here from YMCA. They got to be wondering what's going on, as that was original Snooze rifling it on net. 2 men in front. Timotei gets the deflection, 3 goals off of 5 registered shots, and they have the advantage in time on attack. It's impressive. It really is impressive what ZSC is able to do right here. They're kind of utilizing the dump and chase more than pretty much anyone else in the ECL Elite, and more often than not, they're being rewarded. They're forechecking YMCA. Almost looks like it went off his arm right there for the deflection. Nonetheless, it's a good goal, and they have the lead now here, and the second, time's ticking away here. YMCA got to find a response, not just on the scoreboard, but in their gameplay as well. They're kind of getting worked at times by ZSC.
Absolutely. So here we go, and in fairness, and I had to look it up. I'm not sure if anyone else cares, but to that point is a big glove stop there by Benna. We have seen the examples at the bottom of the standings, 1 point, 1 goal being the difference for these teams making the playoff. But to that point here now for YMCA, this is a dangerous situation if you manage to drop points here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see what happens now. We approach the final 5 minutes of this second period. ZSC right back in on the attack. Tremendous play at the end of the season. Help salvage what looked like to be a lost season and turn it into somewhat of a positive. And for ZSC, especially hovering around the bottom of the standings, you avoid that relegation battle and really solidify your place in the Elite Division. Who knows what next season could bring. Timotei has it down low in the corner, up to Tony, gets it back down low, but again, just a wrecking ball. Moja all over the defensive zone. Puck dropped back to Yamoy. Now again, it's Moja. Bumped off the puck at the line. Physical play stepping up a little bit here. Team struggling to find any sort of space. Down low for JM in the corner. It's in front again. Loose puck recovered by Snus, trying to send it down the other way, but a great poke check again to slow down the ZSC counterattack. Timothy the spin. JM the wraparound went all the way through the other side. Doesn't find the back of the net. Final 20 seconds now. YMCA still have time to tie this one up, but it's ZSC back in control. Timotei will drop it back. Gets a chance perhaps as he's over the line and can't get a shot off. So Sin, what a turn of events here. It's ZSC in control of this game as we head to the third period.
Yeah, and pretty surprising how well they're able to play against this YMCA squad who, maybe seems to be thrown for a loop with some of what ZSC is doing. ZSC is defending decently enough, but what I like what they're doing is they're able to get the puck and get the counterattacks going. YMCA, committing the guys down low to trying to get that low cycle going, and ZSC reading that and sending Timotei and Berkdahl up the ice a bit quicker the second they're able to turn that puck over, which is creating potential odd mans for YMCA. And on that counterattack, ZSC is able to gain that zone easily. They may not get a chance off the counterattack, but with how trappy teams can be at the blue line, how good they are at holding off teams from the blue line, if you're able to attack with numbers every time heading into the zone, you have better odds of, gaining zone, being able to establish the attack. And when ZSC is able to establish their attack, that's, how a lot of their goals are coming. The point shots, deflections, 2 of their goals scored like that. This is record aside, this is a good team in ZSC, and they've kind of gotten better. And maybe this is the lineup that they've sort of needed there as we get another look at that pretty goal from behind the net. But the 2 from ZSC, just kind of a grindy goal right there as they are able to get the rebound. And then, of course, the deflection goal, the other one. YMCA, they've got to find an answer, not just on the scoreboard, but also on the defensive side of things as well.
Here we go. Big third period just about ready to begin. Again, very important points up for grabs in this one. Benham will play it out to his left, and we will see who is able to walk away with these valuable 2 points. Of course, valuable for different reasons. Sin, an overtime game would benefit both of these clubs, but let's be honest, they want to get their business handled, over and done with, walk away. Not just 2 points, but all 4 points, but a long way away from that becoming a reality as JM was able to win that one, gets it over to Mosia. Again, ZSC doing a much better job defensively as this game's played on, not to jinx them here. YMCA back in control. Job helping out the defense, but Timotei couldn't hold on to it. Nilanderi to Timothy, the big kick stop by Chich. Freeman able to recover, finding Berkdahl here, trying to cut in. Good move. Snus couldn't hold on to it. Timotei couldn't win it back. Nilanderi handling it well. Yamoy turns it right over to Timotei, who gets absolutely leveled by JM. Not just a finesse goal scorer, he will play the body when it's necessary. Happens now, YMCA over the blue line. It's JM in the corner. Big hit there by Snus, but still in possession. Here's JM looking at his options on the backhand, but he runs out of time. Dimite tried to find Snus. Instead, definitely turning more into a ping pong battle here. Just who's going to find that little bit of space to break through.
Yeah, and ZSC doing a good job of defending it. They collapse well. They're forcing the blue line well. And when they collapse, YMCA doesn't pass it to the point when they're holding the blue line. They don't seem to pass it down low in times. Just pick, really a precise defense from ZSC coming out.
There's Birkadal now down low to Snus. Looking at his options. Goes to Tony at the point. Back down for the captain. Pass in front's intercepted. Dimite fighting for it. Good chop there. Great positioning from Freeman, though. Hasn't looked out of place along the blue line there. Would love to get a word of how much defense he tends to play. Good job there, fending off the pressure. 9.5 minutes remaining now. Shot deflection. Chich makes a save. Up around the air, able to snag that one with the glove.
And there was some space on that short side, on that glove side. I like the idea from, I believe that was Nylanderi back there, taking that shot, trying to see if he could catch Chich. Almost scores. They go for the one time there. Well played by ZSC.
Chance there as well. Chich able to come up with it. YMCA getting some chances here as this third period's gone on, but as we know, the clock winds down very, very quickly. They are running out of time. Desperately need this goal. It would be a massive 2 points for ZSC. As Moja not able to hold on to it. Birkadal has to drop back to Freeman. Way too much traffic at the line. Space here, perhaps. Here's Timothy for YMCA. Drops back to JM. Nowhere to go. As he had that puck there. This one back into the ZSC zone. 6.5 to play. One team fighting to avoid relegation. Now it's back here in control for YMCA. 5 minutes to play. One back here by Tony. Just couldn't thread the needle to find Birkadal. YMCA down to 4 minutes. They need the goal shot on. Paddled away by Chich. Turnover here though. JM back to the point. Shot. Wanted that deflection. Couldn't get it. Good poke check by Timotei. YMCA able to recover in their own zone. JM nearly freed up there. It was Freeman to take that one away. 2.5 to play. The bouncing puck finds its way to JM. Again, not able to hold on to it. Timotei dumps this one in. Birkadal is going to be able to chase it down. Finds Snus. Quickly work to the point. And again, back down low. Birkadal, they tried the same exact play. And it nearly worked out. They gave up that goal earlier in the game. I like it. Here we go. Final minute and a penalty called. YMCA to the man advantage with 52 seconds to play.
This is huge. The real-time minute. This is absolutely huge. They have to score here.
1 for 1 on the man advantage of YMCA. This one off of Nylanderi goes all the way down. 45 to play. Will we see Bennett go to the bench? They wait for maybe one more face-off. There's the hit. Played out. Pass off the mark. Yamoy being chased down by Birkadal. He'll back off. 30 seconds to go. The first game of two between these two clubs. What a poke check by Tony. 25 to play now. They get it over the line with JM. Timothy back to JM. Couldn't get the pass over. One-timer and a stop by Chich. It's sent all the way down. Played by Benna. Able to get the pass off. One more rush. 8 seconds to go. Played all the way down by Tony, and ZSC Esports pull off the comeback from 2-1 down. They take it 3-2 and pick up a massive, massive 2 points. Again, to try and fend off relegation for YMCA. Sin, this might be one of those games that you look back at and say, this is why we didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's huge. That was a huge win for ZSC. They played fantastic. They really did. They scored when they needed to on the chances that they should have. And they even had more chances that they could have scored on. They defended well. They really kind of shut down YMCA from doing what they wanted to do. When YMCA capitalized one way, they couldn't find it again. And that last save by Chich off the one-timer from Moja was huge. That was a great set play from YMCA. That was the chance that they were looking for on the man advantage. They got it, and a huge save coming out from Chich. Just everyone had their moment there for ZSC in that W. And yeah, you said it, no bigger W right there. And if you're YMCA, you got to be feeling you just let 2 immense points slip out of your fingers. You had the lead, you lost the lead, you couldn't capitalize at the end there. And that's a rough one. That's, what else can you say? That's a really rough L to take there for YMCA.
That second game didn't matter to begin with, Sin. It matters that much more now for these two clubs. Yeah. We'll get you an updated look at the standings as soon as we can. But before our second game of this series, our fourth and final game of this broadcast, let's get you a quick word from our sponsors. We'll be right back after this very, very brief break.
Wilhelm vie nakkikioskille kotikatsomossa.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, Sin, we are back. Here we go. We're ready for our next matchup. Again, a big thank you to Wilhelm, Kouvolan Lakritsi, and Viaplay for helping make this season happen. And Sin, we were discussing in that break an incredible situation here that continues to develop. Waiting for that game to be reported here so we can bring you the most up-to-date stats possible. But before we get a look at that, or even before the game starts, I mean, Sin, for ZSC, that was a very impressive performance. I mean, again, They are a team that is new to the Elite Division, a team essentially full of rookies. The only guy who has Elite experience, Haldim, not in the lineup, normally on defense for them. And, you know, it's been a struggle at times, but man, if we see more of that, especially heading into next season, like I said, who knows what might happen. And as it stands right now, they are on the cusp of digging themselves out of a potential relegation spot. Again, we'll try to get you guys a look at the updated standings in a matter of moments here, hopefully. But it's a massive win for them, an incredible win for them off of a great performance. And honestly, I think for the most part, it's just, hey, more of the same. That relentless pressure, a lot of teams aren't necessarily used to that. We see quality over quantity all the time. As you get a look here, this bracket right now, technically not updated. I don't know if we can get a refresh on that from our producer. I do see the website has updated that game's been reported with ZSC now being on 27 games. And there we go. Thank you very much. Best in the game, our producer there. You get a look. This is the live table as it stands. Again, left-hand side of the bracket is where you want to be. The top 8 make the playoffs. The only thing pretty much guaranteed right now, Philadelphia is our number 1 seed. And of course, down from really 10th, everything else is set in stone. Nobody is making it in the playoffs if you're 10th or lower. It's down, like I said, to IQ, YMCA, Sawo, and Poggers. 3 of those 4 teams will make the playoffs. But the other battle that we're paying attention here to, 13, 14, and 15. Those 3 teams have to battle to keep their spot in Elite next season. ZSC right now, 1 point. 1 point behind Vesapampa, and they pushed Jyväskylä as it stands into 14th. We thought they'd be a top 5 club this season. Expect the unexpected. Sin Tunnel Vision has crawled their way out of the basement. It has been astounding. And still, with teams having 2 to 3 games to go, we still don't have a full look at the picture yet.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just been insane to watch this develop over the course of the season. But yeah, it looks like the second game is just about ready to get underway, and I want to see how this kind of shakes out. We talked about a YMCA, you know, in that playoff position for now, but how volatile are those last 3 spots, you know, going into toward that 9 spot as well. it's these points, they can't let them slip away. And if you're ZSC, again, you're really fighting for your life. You may be a chance to move out of the relegation position, which would be massive for them. A weight off their shoulders. Yeah, you didn't have a good start. It's your first, season in Elite. You're learning, you're getting better, and have they gotten better. And right now, they're giving a team in a playoff position a huge run for their money.
It was mentioned in chat, Vesapampa taking another game off of Yippee Voskala. So Vesapampa right now on 25 points, ZSC on 22. The Lions have to win if they want to try to avoid a relegation battle and force Vesapampa of all teams down there, as JM had a great chance early on for YMCA. And if you're YMCA, of course, the pressure's there. You let one game at hand slip. You have one more game here to try and get some distance on IQ, Sawo, and Poggers. This has been one of the most exciting playoff battles in heading down the stretch I can possibly remember, as we have an offside call here. But incredibly exciting just to see how this is all playing out. This has been phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of exciting here, this is YMCA coming out here with a little bit more urgency, a little bit of coming out. They look hungry on that first offensive zone attack, and now let's see how they handle that dump and chase, who ZSC is probably one of the most prone to do that here in the ECL Elite.
Big stretch pass there, intercepted well by Freeman. He maintains possession. Timotei over to Snus, looking, thought he was going to pull the trigger. And not being able to hold on to that puck there. Can't keep it in the attacking zone. Tony tried to work his way back, a double team. That pass banked off of his downed body there to help prevent the breakout. Yeah, Sin, you mentioned it, a lot of physicality right now from YMCA. They know they let that first opportunity slip. They can't do it again, or it comes down to tomorrow's action. The madness there is Snus with the creative look for the pass. Shot on. Benna scrambling to find it. Going down the other way here for YMCA. Here's Mozia. Poked away by Tony, and ZSC right back in on the attack. Poke check breaks that loose and not able to hold it onside. Offside call with 11 minutes to go here in the first period.
That was a great poke by Tony, but if you're YMCA, if you are able to attack with numbers like that, they had a 3-on-2, you have to be able to sustain a little bit of zone time. Getting poked at the blue line there is simply something that's not going to fly in the playoffs.
Deflection there somehow stays out. Going to go down the other way for YMCA, but again, the poke checks at the blue line. So that first goal is going to go a long way in determining how this one plays out.
Absolutely. I mean, the pressure will be on. I mean, we've seen ZSC come back from being a goal down to get the win. But yeah, if YMCA, they've had a lead in this series, but they haven't gotten the first goal.
Absolutely chance here, though, perhaps for JM, able to split the defense. Goes in, flying poke check from Chich. Puck still loose, and he covers it. Nothing but white ice for the netminder, but he's able to make the play.
And Timothy got a whack at that one right as Chich put the glove over it. He's just got to be thinking to himself, a split second sooner, he could have had a huge goal.
Seeing what will happen. Here, the one-timer knocked down. YMCA getting some decent looks, but the shot blocking, clogging the lanes. ZSC, it's been on point. Birkadal has it, not able to hold on to it. Tony pinching up now. Just covering for him. What a play off the post! Birkadal that close to finding the game's opening tally. Deflection bid. Not able to get that one on target. Here's Birkadal. One-timer and a stop by Benna, somehow seeing that one through the traffic.
I don't know what it is, but ZSC is playing with a level of confidence that we simply haven't seen yet. This is something here is brewing here for the Lions, and I mean, we're lucky to see it.
Chance on the doorstep. A couple and another shot on by Snus just doesn't go. Benna's having to make some big stops here. Tony at the point, looking at his options. It's down to Timotei now around the back. Birkadal again tries that same play. Snus on the doorstep. Great chances. Incredible pressure. Sin, I love that they keep trying to get that goal back that YMCA scored on them in that first game. 3.5 to go, the breakout. Timotei stuffed at the line. This one sent in by Yamoy. Nobody there with them. Easily played by Tony. They tried the quick out. It'll be icing. Birkadal couldn't get in front of the defender.
Yeah, and well played there by Nilandari to kind of get in position and kind of kind of paused to read the bounce. He didn't want to overskate it right there and give Berkedal an opportunity. Good patience.
One-timer blocked down in front by Freeman. Down low here. Mozia not able to hold on to it. Great defense again from ZSC. Berkedal looking, drops back for Freeman. Tried to hit him back, but again, way too much traffic. Good look there to find Timotei. Berkedal cutting through the middle. Snus has it, poked away as he tried to fire that one on goal. Back down to the captain now. Shot on him. Bena's able to make the save. Couldn't quite pick the corner, so.
Yeah, but had the opportunity. Bena came off the post a little bit as he had to respect Berkedal, who slid over onto that far side for the one time, and Snus being more the passer than the shooter, you know, kind of used that as bait to take that shot.
Tony, the self-pass off the boards, off the draw. Freeman's shot handled by Bena. Good chop there to keep it alive, Tony. Couldn't throw that one on. Puck all the way down. Sin, that'll do it. Would have been interesting if that one had counted. Brings us to the end of the first period. A scoreless game, but hardly a boring game by any means. But YMCA, shockingly, no registered shots on goal.
Yeah, they came out strong in the beginning. But this time, ZSC responded in kind, and man, they were just really just peppering Bena there. They got some great chances in tight, and Bena had to make a few saves in a row, and really is the reason why YMCA is still tied in this one. I mean, it's kind of crazy to be saying that. YMCA, this playoff position team, battling a team in a relegation spot, but again, ZSC has figured something out, and YMCA right now just, they seem to be, you know, kind of fighting themselves a little bit. What they're trying to do down low with their cycle isn't quite working. They're not kicking it back up to the point maybe enough as they need to. When they do, it's, you know, a one-time opportunity that they're not able to get those secondary, tertiary opportunities from the loose pucks. ZSC is just, you know, really good on those loose pucks in both zones.
And it's there, taken away. For Yamoy to go. Let's see who can get this opening goal. Space for original Snow. Shot, scores! The captain finding space down the middle. A great short side finish. And Sin on command. ZSC Esports, minute and a half in, able to find that difference-making goal.
Yeah, Original Snus said to us in the pregame, heard you were talking smack about my goal scoring, and he gets two big ones so far in this one. Just, that was a great play by them. Opening up the middle, the thread pass, he splits the D, gets into an odd man situation, and just picks that glove side of Bena. And once again, ZSC, 1-0. They have a lead again. This is unreal what they've been able to do so far. They're playing amazing.
This entered play today with 4 goals on the season. He's up to 6. And a penalty called here, though. YMCA will go to the power play. An interference minor coming up against. I actually could not see who that was. And the answer is Freeman, the right defenseman. Going to take a seat. Faceoffs were even. Now a 1-win advantage for the Lions. But a huge moment here. You get the goal. Now you're on the PK. That one dumped out. Timotei took a huge hit to make that play happen. We'll see what YMCA can do. Puck going back the other way. It's JM. Feed in front to Timotei doesn't go. Smart and safe clear for Timotei. 45 seconds remaining now in the man advantage. YMCA entering play today with the 8th rated power play against ZSC, the 2nd worst PK in the league. Standing tall for the moment. Great job by Timotei to get in front. JM's able to hold it in. Mozia down low for Timotei. The pass, good look, and they tried to find Jam on the back door. We're back to 5-on-5. Numbers down the other way. Timotei having trouble, not able to hold on to it. So YMCA avoiding a close call there, but a good kill for ZSC as Berkedal has it now. Able to find Timotei bouncing around. YMCA come up with it. Here's Mozia over the line. To the point, still maintaining puck control, tried to go around the back, just out of reach of Timotei. Berkedal again, has it, draws the trip. JM will take a seat, and Sin, get to see the ZSC power play go to work on this one.
Yeah, we'll see what they're able to do. Big face-off opportunity for Original Snus. Does not get the win here. Needs to get that clear quickly. The forechecking aggression coming out, but well kept in by Tony.
Snus back over to Freeman. Again to the centerman. Down low. Couple passes, looking to try to generate some space here. Snus one-timer, scores! Freeman from the point with a bomb of a shot! Can you believe it, Sin? What a shot! 2-0 ZSC. on the power play tally.
You know what? The Swiss hype machine is back up and running. This ZSC squad, perhaps the best they've looked since earning their way into the ECL Elite. And again, they're giving a playoff team fits right now. What a power play that was. They didn't force the middle. They took what was given to them, eventually taking a shot with traffic in front. And that's simply something that they haven't shown enough of throughout the course of the season. But, I mean, what a time to come alive for ZSC and YMCA, now finding themselves in a 2-goal deficit while being down a game in this 2-game set. YMCA, they have to find an answer, and they got to find it quick.
Then if these score lines were to hold, tomorrow is going to be beyond fascinating. As right now, if ZSC wins, they would be 1 point behind 3 different clubs who could find themselves in that final relegation spot. It's unbelievable how this season is playing out right now. Highly recommend second screen viewing. The NHL Gamer website has been forced to squeeze the pads there to keep that one out. And a message sent perhaps by JM. Monster hit there after the whistle.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration coming out from YMCA, and I don't blame them. What they usually get is simply not there. ZSC cutting out all the lanes they like to use.
Ooh, Snus, a quick pass. Might have had a chance to put that one on. Seen him pick a corner in this one. YMCA dropping that first game in regulation in a very tough spot now. Huge hit there. YMCA back in possession. In an unbelievable battle for the final 3 playoff spots, JM scores! Sometimes good positioning pays off, Sin. He somehow finds a way to tap that one 5-hole, and don't write him off yet. We have ourselves a game.
Absolutely not, and what a play right there. Getting that pass through the middle, something that hasn't been there, but YMCA keeps kind of going to it. You could argue that they're forcing it a bit right now. That one makes it through. JM just kind of guides that puck in around Chitcher through his 5-hole. I couldn't quite tell from the angle, but nonetheless, that's an absolutely massive goal. And YMCA, they're going to need to do a bit more of that. Maybe just a bit more patience with the puck and taking what's given to him, as ZSC is doing. I feel like at times, YMCA kind of forcing the issue, and it's not working out into the benefit.
Another twist to the tail as Tony keeps this one in. Snus tries the short side. Benna able to stick with them. 6 minutes to go in this second period. Again, for those of you perhaps just joining us, Sin and I's final regular season broadcast. The season ends tomorrow in Finnish. Playoffs begin on Monday. YMCA, no idea if they're going to be there. ZSC, no idea if they're safe or if they have to fight for their survival in the Elite Division. So much to play for as that shot just wide. Timotei nearly picked the corner. Big interception by Freeman. He joins the rush. Again, started this season as a forward, playing defense today. Muscling the opponents there to hold on to the puck. Still fighting for it now. But it's JM able to hold on. Ilanderi will find Timothy now to JM along the boards. Down low in the corner. Puck loose. JM still has it. Back to the point. D to D. Yamoy back down to JM. Can they find the space they're looking for? Again, back down low. JM has it. Looking. Great defense there by Tony. He has possession. Feeds Birkadal, but a big step up there by Yamoy. Keeps the possession alive. Only for the moment. 5 seconds to go. The Lions will kill out the clock. Thin. It was 2-0. It's now 2-1. Heading into the third period. ZSC threatening to take all 4 points away here. But still, this third period, I got a feeling, it's going to be just as crazy as basically everything we've seen this season.
Yeah, there's going to be fireworks no matter what happens here. If CSC is able to hold on, they're defending so well right now. I mean, you talk about what YMCA wants to do. Maybe they're forcing it a little bit. On the flip side, ZSC really isn't giving them many options. The second that a YMCA player has possession in the zone, there's someone in his face. The second he wants to look for a pass, the person he passes to has got someone in their face. ZSC is sticking to those YMCA skaters like glue, and it's honestly, it's throwing them off their game. YMCA, still only the 1 registered shot, which, yes, it is a goal, but you're not going to win many games only getting that many shots. ZSC has that advantage. I mean, look at that play that they're able to do, getting someone around the defense. The counterattack of ZSC dare I say, beginning to rival that of one Färjestad right there. But look at that pass right there. Could have easily been picked off. And that's what I kind of mean with the positioning of ZSC and YMCA kind of having to force the middle a little bit, perhaps more than they should. They get rewarded on that one. But I kind of got to worry for their outcome in this game if they continue to try to force the middle, because ZSC is just simply not there.
So here we go, in the third period, ready to begin. And obviously, as you would expect at this stage of the season, the biggest period of hockey that these two teams have had so far. Pass and the puck just wide of Chich on that one. Jam the shot, another big stop by the netminder there for the ZSC Lions. Original Snus has it now. Over to Timotei. Not able to hold on to it. Nylanderi able to settle that one down. See what they can do going down the other way now. Trying to hold it in the attacking zone and able to do so. Tony has a little bit of space down that left-hand side. Cuts back, tries to step in, no space. Takes it around the back of the net. Timotei can't get that shot through. 4-on-2 perhaps developing here for YMCA. That pass off the mark. Again, Tony is there, but he turns it over. Good interception there. Moja shot, scores! One too many turnovers for ZSC. Moja picks the corner. Sin, we are tied at 2.
That's a huge goal, and I like the mentality from Moja. Yeah, he could have maybe passed it over there to Timotei, but they've been doing that all game. Throw a different look at the goaltender. Moja does that. He catches Chich, committing early to the possible one-timer, picks the corner, tie game right now. Absolutely massive goal for YMCA. They got to be able to take this momentum now, throw it back into the face of ZSC, hem them into their own zone for a change.
Another twist to the tail. It just doesn't stop. Where this ride stops, nobody knows at this stage. As YMCA right back into the attack. One-timer and a crucial block from Freeman. Held in by Amoy. JM tried to feed it to the middle. See what ZSC can do going back down the way now. Snus able to find Tony. Snus recovers. Looking one-timer. They score! Birkedal responds 3-2 for the Lions. Sin, what a game.
This is absolutely insane. ZSC has an answer for everything YMCA wants to throw at them. Oh, you tied the game? Well, we'll take our lead back. You had a lead in the last one. We'll take that as well. You want the middle of the ice? We'll take that away. Look at that. Birkedal just all alone. I mean, just sitting there in the opposite Ovechkin spot, untouched, unhindered, and 3-2 lead for ZSC.
His 7th of the season and none bigger. How will YMCA respond to another bit of adversity here that they're facing? One more hurdle in their way, dare I say, is a glove save by Chich. Sin, dare I say, against the Swiss, one more hill to climb.
We're going to keep beating that dead horse, and they're going to be like, yo, we're not even from
get
that
it.
area.
Mountains, neutrality. It's delightful. Here's Birkedal. He has to step on the defender here. Short side, just wide of Benna. Tony again pinching in. Has along the half wall, down low. Snus the wraparound bid, nearly caught him. Second chance. Nowhere to go, way too many layers of traffic. We are beyond the halfway point of this third period. In the attacking zone for YMCA. Jam the pass over! And a phenomenal save from Chich to keep this at a 3-2 scoreline.
A brilliant read. That came from anticipation. Chich saw that play before it even developed. That's why he's able to make the save. If he doesn't anticipate that, if he doesn't react early as JM gets an in-tight chance, Chich does not make that save. That was a great executed play by YMCA and an even better anticipation from Chich. ZSC, again, I'm going to say it, they have something here. They found something. They're a team to watch.
Off the face-off here, Jam in control, down low to Timotei in the corner. Back to the point, slap shot deflects, another stop by Chich. Trying to get the breakout here going. Snus able to get it over to Timotei. Has space, original Snus looking short side, off the post, and it dies on the line! That close in to a 2-goal lead. The captain denied a potentially difference-making goal.
Wow, a pinball of a puck. I even think it hit a body before it hit the post there. Nonetheless, YMCA dodging a bit of a bullet there. They got to make the most of it on this counterattack.
And down the other way, the puck kicked back. Incredible chance there for Original Snus and the ZSC Lions. They keep that 1-goal lead with 5.5 minutes to play. They took the first game. Can they take this one as well? So much pressure on both of these squads. So much to play for. Here's Birkedal looking, shot on, stopped by Bennett, having trouble with the rebound. Puck still loose. And settled down here for YMCA. They have 4 minutes to work with now. Hit at the line, puck loose, and again, knocked free. Huge hit there. YMCA in possession in the neutral zone. No space to gain the line. JM trying to hold on to it. Puck free. Chance in front, intercepted by Tony. They have 2 minutes to go. Original Snus sends that one in. Played, poked at the last second. Birkedal just couldn't tap it in as Freeman holds this one in. Back to Birkedal, and again, down low for Timotei. Tries to find that pass in front, still holding on to a chance for Snus on the doorstep, stopped by Benna. Final a minute here. Both teams playing with fire. Moja recovers, finds JM. Over to Nilandari. Pass back across, great interception by Timotei. 42 to go now. He drops it at the line, it's recovered by YMCA. Can they get going down the other way? They're held up a little bit at the line. Moja finds a bit of space. Spin, rifled, back all the way down to the YMCA zone. 25 to play. Keep an eye on Benna, perhaps. 20 seconds, poke back again. Got to get the puck in deep at this point, boys. They find the space. Again, recovered. Timotei takes the hit. 10 seconds to go now. One more rush for YMCA. Space here. JM loses it. Puck is cleared. ZSC pull off the double over YMCA. 4 crucial points for the elite rookies to try and avoid relegation and send disaster for YMCA as their playoff chances just went from pretty good to very, very uncertain.
Yeah, this is something that neither of us, I think, could have predicted. Something still completely unexpected. I'm kind of at a loss for words. ZSC played as good as they had to. They played, honestly, at times near perfect, and YMCA had no answer. They simply had no answer at any point in time. ZSC, they clogged the middle. They stopped them on the breakout. And YMCA, at some point, I thought they're like, take a leaf out of the ZSC book, dump it in, forecheck. They simply didn't do that. And with how aggressive Tony and Freeman were being at the blue line, I think they could have really benefited from getting the puck in deep. Like you said, at the end, they were just horizontal hockey on the blue line there in the last minute for about 30 seconds. They couldn't get that puck in cleanly whatsoever. And wow. And result of that, they get 2-0. 0 points out of a possible 4. You want to at least pick up 2, but if you're YMCA, you just let huge points kind of fall by the wayside. And that was the match that you quote unquote should have had the advantage and should have got the majority, if not at least half the points. And they didn't. And ZSC potentially working themselves out of a relegation position. Wow. Just wow. What a different team we saw in front of us. Like, it seems like ZSC has some other level when the chips are down. When it comes to the clutch time, the Swiss hype machine finds another gear. They found it against YMCA, and a huge 4 points they picked up in this one.
Then this has been, I mean, we said last season as well, man, how can it be taken to another level in terms of unpredictability and the movement around the league and just how the league changes on a season-to-season basis, whether it be new teams, new players, top players going to new teams, just how quickly the dynamic can change. And we said, because of that this season felt like it was going to be something special and maybe perhaps the most unpredictable that we've seen to date.
Yeah.
This has been, and it's not done yet. We have one more match day to go. This has been the most unpredictable season I think we've had the privilege of covering so far here in our, we've been here for a couple of years now, and this has been something else.
Yeah, it's You never know what's going to happen. I mean, it's crazy. We could say all the platitudes in the world, but even after we say all that, we're still shocked by the way things end up, because it's nuts. I mean, a team like ZSC doing what they're doing right now. I think at one point were they dead last? I think so at the beginning of the season. At one point that they were dead last in the standings. And now, in just today, they may have battled their way at least into the top of the relegation positions, if not completely out of it. I think we'll get an updated look at the standings ASAP as things go down.
We are waiting for that right now.
Okay.
Waiting for them to report the games. We can say, heading into tomorrow, as you get a look at the latest results, every team is on 28 out of 30 games played. It does all come down to tomorrow, so we're waiting for YMCA and ZSC to update or to report their games so that we can get a look at the updated standings. We're not going to leave you until then, because it's worthy to be able to set the stage heading into tomorrow's action, especially because, man, am I jealous, Sin and I don't get to cover it. But you see there, Vesa Pampa putting Yippee Vaskala into a horrible situation. They pull off the double. ZSC pull off the double. Havu and Goons with the 1-1 split. IQ taking care of business against Kova. Huge result for them, especially with YMCA dropping points like they did tonight. And of course, we knew as well, Philadelphia doing what they had to do. Sawo, as if Rusty Blades weren't already down in the dirt. They are there now for sure. As again, Sim, we await the updated standings here. If it takes another minute or two, I'll do a little bit more explanation if I have to. But Sin, I was going to say, in terms of that performance, though, Sin, I mean, you mentioned it for ZSC. There is something to this team. I think, you go through, this is important in terms of the trajectory that they're on, because oftentimes you see a team get promoted from our pro division and they just get smacked around, and it just doesn't seem like throughout the season the developments are made. And obviously that can lead to frustration and the dynamic changing with this team. But so many members of this team have been together for so long through these lower divisions that as they've acclimated to this division, you see them put on a performance like this. And indeed, now we do have the updated standings. This is the live bracket as it stands heading into tomorrow's action. Again, to go through the bracket, the left-hand side is where you want to be. Philadelphia, among others, confirmed for a playoff spot, certainly, but Phila has confirmed their spot as our number 1 seed. Of course, they are our defending champions. hREDS likely as well, locking in that 2nd seed. Havu, 1 more win, and Färjestad's locked in to that 4-5 battle against Goons. So I think we can pretty much say, look forward to Färjestad and Goons in the first round. But then from there is where it is a complete toss-up again. IQ, Sawo, Poggers, YMCA. 3 out of those 4 teams on 30 points. 3 out of those 4 teams will make it. Somebody will miss out. YMCA could have finished on 34 points today and all but secured their spot. Instead, tomorrow is a complete toss-up for them. You talk about IQ. They were our champions of our pro division last year. They got automatic promotion, and they might make the playoffs as well as Goons in their first attempt. Sawo's had a very up and down history over the past few seasons. They're on the verge. Poggers, formerly SJ Gaming, again, it was pointed out in chat earlier, they missed out on the playoffs last year on goal differential. That's all it took. And for YMCA as well, trying to prove a lot of people wrong by making the playoffs. But then, Sin, again, you talk about the other battle that we have here, where it's pretty much confirmed. We already know Rusty Blades getting automatically relegated. Kova Esports likely going to have to fight for their survival. But then the question is who finishes in 13th and 14th, because those 2 spots have to fight for their survival as well. And look at Yippee Vaskala. Sin, they're going to be fighting at this stage, barring a miracle, unless they get some kind of crazy tiebreaker where Vesa Pampa, Northern Ascendancy, and Tunnel Vision all finish on 25 points. It's very likely that a playoff favorite is going to have to fight for their survival. And now ZSC is right in that logjam of talent where we have no idea who's going to be safe and who's fighting for those relegation spots. this is simply incredible.
Yeah, and huge games coming out from IQ. They got the 2-0, and YMCA got nothing. You talked about where YMCA could have been, even if they just picked up one win, 1 point even, they would have been in a playoff position. But as it stands, they find themselves out on the outside looking in, and ZSC in that final, the top relegation spot. If they keep on their trajectory, if they win another couple games here, or at least one, I'm not too sure who their next opponent is. If you could.
I was gonna cover that here, because originally the plan for tomorrow was Kova Esports Tunnel Vision, ZSC and Yippee Voskala to be our featured games. That is at the moment a toss-up. We might try to bounce around a little bit more or feature 2 other matchups based off of playoff implications. But indeed, for Tunnel Vision, Sin, you talk about their ability to stay out of a relegation spot. They're taking on the second worst team in the league right now. That's a great chance. ZSC and Yippee Voskala are going head-to-head. Depending on how that series goes, for better or worse, it could condemn one of them, if not both of them, if there's a split into those relegation battle spots. hREDS take on Northern Ascendancy, so look for them to secure that second place spot. Northern Ascendancy, though, fighting to not end up in one of those rough relegation spots. Same for Vesapampa, as they'll take on Rusty Blades. Vesapampa could find themselves in a relegation spot. Goons take on IQ, and for Goons, I mean, Sint, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I'm actually going to look this up just to make sure. In terms of last year's pro final, it was IQ beating Goons in the championship to get promotion, and now Goons could technically cost IQ a playoff spot if they were to pull off the double. You guys see what we're talking about here with how ridiculous this is? And that's not even all the matchups tomorrow, Sin. Poggers in 8th right now. They have to take on Philadelphia. Incredibly tough for them to get points there. Philadelphia, as you can see, just 2 losses on the season, none in regulation. Färjestad takes on Havu. So if FBK, they pull off the double and do it in regulation, they might take that 3 seed. And then, of course, the other matchup, the last 2 teams we didn't mention, Sin, it's Sawo and YMCA. 2 teams right on the fringe. Tomorrow is going to be absolutely absurd. Like, I know we just threw a lot of information at your face, but there was not one matchup that is not relevant to these current standings and where this could ultimately see this full picture pan out. I'm stunned by this. I am so excited for tomorrow, and we're not even doing the broadcast.
I know. I'm just going to be sitting here with my popcorn and just watching how things play out, looking on the website, clicking refresh over and over and over again just to try to keep up with all the madness that is going to be tomorrow. So you guys out there are not going to want to miss out as well. I mean, tune into the broadcast. Keep an eye on NHLgamer.com because things are bound to change. Things are going to be hectic. And, I mean, just buckle your seatbelts.
So it is the ultimate dual screen experience tomorrow. Make sure you're here. Again, same time, the broadcast in Finnish. But also make sure you're paying attention to NHLgamer.com. Start refreshing that standings page like I know I'm going to be as we wait to see how this all plays out. Again, that will do it for Sin and I here in the ECL regular season. But we will be back starting next week where the playoffs begin. It's just a matter of how it's all going to pan out. Very much looking forward to seeing how that is. So again, we thank you very much for joining us throughout these broadcasts this season. Of course, you can find Sin on Twitter, as you see on your screen at Sin for the Win Productions, or Prod, of course, Sin for the Win Productions on YouTube. I am everywhere at Tugi24. We will be here tomorrow in chat, paying attention to how this is going to pan out. A big shout out once more, of course, to our sponsors in Wilhelm, Kovalan Lakritzi, and Viaplay. We hope to see you all here for tomorrow's regular season finale. Good night, and to the teams on the fringe, good luck.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Everything just seems
Wilhelm vie nakkikioskille kotikatsomossa.